chance?
Yeah.
You are really? Because I saw a lot of your footage. It looks like Western Mass. My grandparents are from Ashfield. Do you know where that is? Ashfield, South Ashfield, Massachusetts.
Uh,
It's near
mm,
Deerfield, Pittsfield, all that stuff.
no, I don't know.
You don't know that area? That's cool that you're in New England. Nobody's in New England these days.
Yeah, every asshole on the internet is in California.
Yes, a lot in the South too. In the drama community, the ones who are like,
Oh
"Yeah, I'm
yeah,
gonna get you.
and then you
I
got
ain't
the
here moving that, right?"
and you got the biggest freaks are all in Austin.
Yeah,
Okay. So you wanted to talk
that's great.
about
And Mr. Girl is from New England too.
okay, yeah, so
Amherst, I
that's
think,
why you
right?
started this because you wanted to start talking about I think so. I don't know.
I see where you're going. You're saying I'm trying to use you to get to Mr. Girl.
No, you beat me to it, but it's obvious I was gonna say that because it is obvious.
I don't. Oh, but see, this is the difference between you and me and Mr. Girl. I don't give a fuck.
I know.
What do I care whether I have what is I don't even know what you guys are talking about when you talk about integrity. What are you fucking talking about?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Um,
Yeah, I'd like to stream with Mr. Girl. I also enjoyed talking with you. I'm really happy we started our relationship up again. And
you messaged me this time the way I like to be messaged, or you're like, do you want to
yeah,
talk about this? And I'm like, okay, let's talk
yeah.
about it. That works for me. Like the whole are we still doing like are we still in a relationship type thing is like no dude like and then you're like I was like it's
It's
like we're
funny. It's funny. I'm joking, Smeth. Men can talk to other men. Like, I understand that you're bimorphic or whatever the hell all the millennials are, but like I'm saying, usually a guy can say to another guy, like, are we broken up? Are we bromantic? It's a joke.
all right, man.
We're not in a sexual relationship in the normal sense. That's the joke.
Okay.
Smith,
What? Like
right? What does it serious? This is why I'd love to talk about this, honestly. Does
okay.
it make you uncomfortable if I say like I escalated? Because I've been watching a lot of like
No.
I escalated too hard. I tried to convert you, and then like it fell apart, and we're broken up. It's a joke. Don't you understand? It's funny. There
It's like
is
it feels
something
no.
very.
It feels like a smoke screen because obviously it's a joke and obviously it's like very elevated. But I feel like you do. I mean, this is not even like bad. This is not even a bad thing. You do want to use me to get to Mr. Girl, like
No, I actually didn't realize that you were connected to Mr. Girl originally. I don't think that's how I. I think I encountered you on a panel, right? Yes, that's right. I didn't know you from Boo. We were on a panel together.
right.
Smith!
Okay, so the thing that
So are
upsets
you
me.
saying that I knew like you were connected
I
to
don't know.
Mr.
I
Girl?
don't know.
No,
Like
I
you.
had no fucking. Well,
Okay,
do you
that's what.
believe me if I say like I had no idea you're connected to Mr.
No,
Girl?
because of what I'm about to say. That the thing that makes me uncomfortable isn't joking and stuff. It's that I can't tell when you're joking or when you're not joking.
But I'm not. I mean, right now I'm not joking. Right? I'm saying I was invited to a panel by a guy named Elder Drazzy.
Hmm.
I didn't know him from Boo, but he's like, "Oh, I want to interview sometime." He invites me on a panel with you, me, and I don't know if I'd ever seen you before that. But
He
anyways,
said
if I want to
that
get to
he
Mr.
he
Girl,
told he told
maybe
me
I
that
no, maybe I did. Maybe I did. Yeah.
he told me that
Oh, I
you.
researched when I was like, "Who's this Elder Drazzy guy?" I researched something on male sexuality that you did with him, just to
He told
try to
me
figure out. Yeah.
that you were especially. He said that the first thing you said was that oh I want to talk to Smeth, which is I don't know flattering
Yeah,
I
that's right.
guess.
Because right, Elder Drazzy reached out to me, and then I was like, I don't know who these people are. He invited me to a panel. He gave me the list of names: Tuna, Chip, your name. I was like, I don't know who any of these people are. Like, they're not familiar names to me, other than wasn't it gonna be Brittany Simon or something like that, who I didn't really even know. But anyways, so then I watched your video with him about male sexuality, and I was like, oh, I want to talk to that guy. He seems interesting. And then I don't know, somewhere in there you're connected to Mr. I had no actually idea who Mr. Girl was, to be honest with you, until after we talked. And then I looked into it. I was like, holy shit, that guy's got a lot in common with me. Anyways, you could suck my dick. I don't care. I don't care if you think I'm trying to get in touch. Why would it be a problem
the
for
only
you
problem,
if I want to talk to Mr. Girl? Why?
It's not. The only problem that I have with you, the main problem that you have with me about like my mistrust of you is I don't know when you're joking or not. That's the thing.
You don't know how to discern a joke from like,
or even just honest.
Sincerity?
Like I can't tell how honest you are all the time. Yeah.
I don't know. What am I gonna? Do you want me to tell you when I'm being honest? Wouldn't that be
no? Because I won't trust you.
Well, that's what I'm sorry, son. In a relationship, you have to get to learn to know how people talk when they're kidding. A lot of it is common. I believe that I follow common social etiquette, which a lot of people of your generation have lost touch with, and they don't really know how these things work. But I am also an oddball. I identify as Q, queer, in the archaic sense of odd, different.
So you're a queer anon.
I'm also G in the archaic sense, happy. I'm a G and a Q. I used to think I was a T, but I'm not. And I can go to all the parades and parties and nightclubs as part of the LGBTQ plus FAG community.
Okay. So, I mean,
I'm an oppressed minority, motherfucker.
See, this is what I'm talking about.
You're the white man. You're the white man who is oppressing straight white man who's oppressing me. Your anti-transgenderism, my T niggas, are oppressed by you because you're saying they're cutting their dicks off because they don't like being a guy. You see?
Yeah.
That's why I'm part of that, because I am a G and a Q.
You're an OG.
Those are my people. Can I say those are my N words if I'm an LGBTQ? That doesn't give you that pass though.
They did put they did just add race to the LGBTQ plus IA flag, which is like,
yes, they put brown and black.
It's extremely upsetting because like it for like adding trans to LGB is already like upsetting because like it was about sexual orientation, and now you're doing gender identity, which is not sexual orientation, but now it's just also racial identity. So it's like just identitarianism. The flag means identitarianism now, period.
They should just write "We hate white Christian males" on it. A lot easier than all the colors.
I like the just old rainbow flag's good enough for me.
I love the rainbow.
I hate the rainbow. It's ugly. Okay, a rainbow is an ugly.
I love rainbows.
If I was gay, I would be so pissed off that I'm represented by rainbow. Is the most garish, ugly thing. Like, ugh.
I love rainbows.
I love rainbows, but usually rainbows don't even have the whole rainbow.
They're beautiful.
Yeah, the fact that you use that profile picture, by the way, does not do you any favors. I mean, maybe it does you favors. It does you favors in the wrong kind of way.
What's the wrong kind of way? I look great.
You know, because you're chosen to. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
You think I chose that picture?
Yes, you did.
Controversial?
To be salacious, yes.
You think that's a controversial picture? That's like the most wholesome picture. A father kissing his daughter who's obviously just like delighted to be kissed by him. There's something really wrong with people on the internet.
Yeah, you're just completely you've never controversy. I never met her.
That's controversial? You've got to be out of your mind. It's totally non-controversial.
Okay. Anyway, you wanted to talk about Mr.
I was just on
getting
Discord and
banned.
some guys putting dick pics in there. I don't know. That to me is inappropriate.
Yeah.
What did I want to talk about, Mr. Girl? Yeah, I like. Okay, so I'm not going to do this thing of like you can believe me or not because it's so stupid.
Yeah, we don't need to play that game.
Okay, so
Like, I will believe you or not. We don't need to talk.
I didn't watch it,
right?
but people kept saying to me, "You should connect with Mr. Girl, Mr. Girl, Mr. Girl." Actually, I was watching one today. You were talking to Mr. Girl, and you both mentioned us from 4 months ago.
What did we say?
He said, if I masturbated more, maybe I would interview Grace Thorp. And you're like,
he said that?
And make a ton of money. Yeah. And you go, I don't know much about those people. And you both
That sounds like something you would say.
You sort of both like we're like, yeah, ugh, disgusting. He said he never watched any of our content. That he summarized our content as a guy pretending to abuse his daughter, which is a form of abuse. But I don't know how you'd come to that conclusion if you said I haven't watched any of their content. But anyways, you also said
I just knew I had only seen like clips and Twitter posts about you.
Yeah, right. But so I don't really care. There's all this fucking stuff. It's just interesting that he came to a conclusion based on having seen none of our content, which was actually an interesting conclusion that we were just I'm pretending to abuse my daughter, which he thought was a form of abuse. I mean, I don't think that's a fair characterization, but it's interesting. It's an interesting characterization of what I do. I don't think I abused her at all.
You probably. I'm guessing you swapped away from your camera to that profile pic just so that you could say that while having that as your profile picture on the camera while you're saying that, just to be salacious. I think that's the way you characterize everything you do. Like,
I can't tell you why I got off camera, but there's a reason. It's not that. I can tell you some other time. That's also not. I mean, that is my daughter, but that's not Grace. That's my other daughter, Maggie, who I can't even talk to because her mother's so crazy. But yes, so you are attributing things. See, now, I want to make last time, I am not going to get into this religious stuff with you. I'm not going to try to, believe me, I'm not going to try to convert you. I don't believe in trying to convert people. I don't know what I'm converting them to or from. I believe we're all, I don't judge other people. I don't know where you are, but I'm just saying, if you were ever interested in, but what I'm saying is, in my opinion, belief in God is not an act of faith. It's just reason. And it's fine with me if you want to say like, well, I don't believe in God, but you can't even utter a sentence coherently without implicitly believing in spiritual things, which I would call God, but we don't have to go there. But I think when you sort of abdicate, this is my theory. When you abdicate
you told me you wanted to talk about Mr. Girl getting deplatformed.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about.
Okay.
When you because he's an atheist or whatever. I put it in quotes, atheist.
Yeah.
I think what happens is you have a strange way, because all of this sphere, destiny, and all these people, for the most part, are I would say atheistic. They act as if God is not present in their life. But this causes, oddly, a strange hypermoralism, which you would think if you get rid of atheism, you get rid of morality. And I mean, that's the whole point. You know what I mean? Do you find that interesting?
Kind of, yeah.
Because Mr. Girl made his name, from what I can reconstruct. You can help me here. I think saying something which was like completely and totally non-controversial, which on the internet he recognized was like, which is that like a 12-year-old girl twerking in front of you, shot a certain way, wearing certain clothes, can evoke some sexual feelings in all people, I think, or at least all men, which is totally non-controversial. That's obviously true. But on the internet, everybody goes crazy about that. So in a sense, he's trolling this sort of internet morality, right? This hyper puritanical morality. But then he ends up becoming a victim of his own hyper puritanism.
How is he?
Like, why isn't he? What's with all the hand wringing about everything? I mean, it took me. I'm just saying. I'm not saying I'm better than anyone else. It took me all of 5 minutes to realize what Destiny is. He's an asshole who uses people on the internet. He tried to use my daughter and tried to use me. We told him to fuck off. We tried to, point out that he's doing illegal things. So what takes more than 5 minutes to figure that out? He does it openly. Why do you need a report and then a report on the report? He's just, he says it like, I use people and discard them. What's the mystery?
He says it. I don't think he says it. No,
yes, he does. He most certainly does.
No,
he said it right. I tried to milk, whatever I could. He didn't even say thanks for coming on my show after I was on his show. He got over 1 million views from me and Grace collectively on his show. Okay, so we knew we were good for content, which was largely due to the trolls who created this this controversial edit. But he didn't even say thanks for coming on, right? After I DM'd him like, hey, here's another thing we could do. And so I dropped the DMs. He said, fuck you. He has said openly, I milk people for content. And then
he'll deny. He'll say it and then he'll deny it. Like if he ever says it, he said that kind of stuff more in the past. He doesn't say it nearly as much anymore.
He said it recently about John Zerka. It's like,
oh yeah, but he'll say it about people.
He'll
say it about people that people agree are bad because he's inconsistent. So he'll say that if people agree that John Zerka is like he's bad guy, bad asshole guy, like he's red pill guy, then it's okay to say that you are being a horrible person to him.
Who's he not an asshole?
So it's okay to be a horrible person to you.
Who's he a nice person to?
People who other people don't agree yet is a bad person until he convinces them that they are a bad person.
All right,
and
good.
then
So there's there's this like, who are the good people, who are the bad people, right?
Right.
But it's exactly lines up with who are the people that he can control. Someone like, I'm sorry, but I know that Mr. Girl made a vow you shouldn't talk about. This fucking loser, fat turd named Stardust on the internet, who I've called that to her face, who's a loser, who has nothing to say, is an example of someone who is a good person because she toes the line, I guess, and defends this stupid thing. And bad people, but she's easily controllable, right? Because she's not creative enough to have her own anything going on except to be an orbiter to get the scraps from Destiny's table, right? I don't have any problem saying that.
Okay.
Those are the good people, even though she's disgusting.
We're not talking about what we agreed to talk about. So I feel like I'm just letting you just rant. Like what
I'm talking about Mr. Girl.
Okay.
I'm talking about the my basic question. If you want me to let you, I won't keep talking. Do you feel like you've been penetrated again against your will?
Jesus
Non-consent.
Christ, dude. Like every time. So anytime anybody says, or at least every time I say or express any discomfort or uncertainty about you, you will make a hyperbolic statement.
But you're
so that I'm comparing.
Who's uncomfortable because I'm making moves on her.
No,
hey, let's get back to the topic.
That's literally what I just did. That's literally what I just did, and then you turned it into something retarded. No, get back to the topic, bitch.
Okay, that's better. That's
better. What I did. You're pretending it's not what I did, but it is.
It's this language of feeling like my lines, my boundaries, my what we agreed upon. It's like, give me a break. Okay. But so are you going to respond to that?
To what?
Oh, you don't see this? Oh, you're on a different stream. Grace said, "Why is Smeth being so cunty tonight?"
You're being cunty.
Am I?
You're spicy.
Well, hey man. You got to give me credit. I watched a lot of your content. I watched a lot of Mr. Girl content so that I could talk to you in a way that made sense. But look, here let me tell you something. Mr. Girl is a very interesting figure. He's way more capable than most of these people of carrying a conversation, of being thoughtful, of being creative, of pushing back. Okay, so why is he not on the internet? I don't get it. Why did he get pushed out?
It's because I think, well, so, like, well, you know, one of the reasons, because I know the other time that I talked to you, he would popped up in the fucking chat thing. So you know, big tech, right? Well, that's the first.
I know
reason.
big tech really well.
Yeah, well, he's responsible for the beginning of this saga of deplatformation.
I have no idea how that is, but like Mr. Girl's not. Well, Mr. Girl could talk with me on my stream, right? I mean, how's he deplatformed? That's just a workaround.
Well, he's deplatformed on YouTube, which is where it matters.
But he could be interviewed on YouTube easily, right? I mean, Nick fucking Fuentes, who was like a horrendous sort of like asshole, whatever, white supremacist or whatever you want to call him, like a racist, is regularly on YouTube, but he just can't do his own content.
Yeah.
So Mr. Girl could
that he wants
absolutely
to make his own,
do the circuit.
I'm guessing he wants to make his own. Also, he doesn't want to. I don't know. You should talk to him about this.
Yeah. Go ahead. No. I know what you're going to say. He doesn't want to interact with streamers anymore. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he had a bad experience, and he took he spent 4 months going through like all of Destiny's like backlogs and stuff. And I'm not making fun of him. I just don't understand why. Destiny is obviously a fucking asshole. I told him to his face.
He's
a hypocritical asshole. I mean, but why spend 4 months on
Mr. Girl nails themselves to the cross over and over again, like about various things. He got rid of super chats because he decided it was immoral. And
yeah, that stuff is what I want to talk about. This blurs in.
It is immoral, but but you still have
How is it immoral if someone wants to give you money? You're providing entertainment.
Because it makes people feel like they are like your friend, but only when they give you money. And so like if I give you money, then you're going to pay attention to me, and I'm already parasocially attached to you, so I feel like we're actually friends, but only when I'm paying you money. And it gives like those kind of people.
But I've been on the other side of that. I give super chats. I understand. I mean, maybe some people don't understand it.
I just think some people are extra vulnerable to it.
Well, give me a fucking break. You're streaming. I'm streaming.
I'll accept super chats. Anybody super chats right now?
These people don't have to. Big Tech's calling you out.
Okay, Big Tech. Say I saw.
Do you want to have Big Tech come on? And you can have it out. I don't
want to fight. I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight. It's just.
If you want to have them up, we can.
I heard that Big Tech felt bad about that too, but.
I don't know anything about it. I don't know the first thing about it. I know that I heard from someone that Big Tech had done something, and then Big Tech told me he didn't do it. I believed him. That was about Ethan Ralph, but I have no idea about. But I don't understand. Mr. Girl did all this.
So wait, the reason he's
for free. Why should? How is it ethical to do all this content for free?
It's insane.
I've done hundreds of hours of content for free. It's immoral if people want to. I'm not even charging them to watch my content.
The thing that's immoral. The thing that is immoral is the way that the platforms structure this shit. The reason he is banned is because of this too. Because every time he gets banned, YouTube changes their mind like months and months and months later, and they say, "Oh, there's actually nothing wrong here."
And Mr. Girl,
yes, but
I don't know what he got banned for.
So this time what he got banned for was for child endangerment, but there's no videos of children or about children on his channel. It was just somebody was mass reporting him.
Oh, right.
And so because the platforms are set up like this, it means that
right. So if you have a lot of haters,
yeah, exactly, and he attracts haters. Yeah, he attracts haters. So that's what it is. You can say whatever you want, pretty much. I think But if you get haters, that's the big thing. Like, just you can't attract haters.
Can I tell you something about my experience of that with haters? I have tons of haters. Tons of
probably
trolls.
true. Yeah, that's true.
Okay, but they don't actually like mass report me because they can't, like, I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? They've called the police, they've called CPS. I tell them my address. But they don't. I'm not really a beefer. You know what I mean? I don't try to take people down in a very serious way. And I feel like people who do that, you know what I mean? They in other words, they go gloves off. Like, I think Mr. Girl did that with Destiny. He went gloves off with him. And so then he was trying to like kill Destiny's channel.
I thought it was
right. And it's just like, I don't know. People don't want to take me out because I'm ultimately, and Mr. Girl too, he's a centrist. You know what I mean? He's not actually an edgy person.
I thought it was because of like people on Cozy TV, that because he was going after Nick Fuentes, that mass reported him and got him deplatformed.
Mr. Girl was. You know, but yeah. I saw Mr. Girl saying, I would love to talk with with Nick Fuentes sometime. I would love to hear what he has to say and blah, blah, blah.
He changed his mind about that.
Okay, but like maybe that's the problem.
No, but he changed his mind after after getting mass reported and shit like that. That he's like, never now. Like, it's never going to happen now because of that. So.
But what? Like, okay.
Nick said that he can go on to Cozy TV, I think, or people at least suggested it, and he's like, no, that would be so humiliating to go to that platform after what happened. That's like the reason that I got deplatformed.
Oh, Nick said he could have a channel on Cozy.
I don't know if Nick said it, but I know that Max said,
here's Big Tech. Do you want to talk to him?
Yeah. I'll talk sure.
Hey, Smeth.
Hey,
nice to talk to you. I've only seen you one time before, and actually, I kind of like you. You seem cool, but
you seem like a thoughtful guy.
Thanks.
I'll vouch for both of you that way.
Based. The only reason I'm calling in is because I got mentioned as the story is being reiterated that I was involved in or orchestrated or carried out some sort of brigading action on Mr. Girl.
It
didn't happen.
Okay.
I want to clear that up.
What happened?
That didn't happen. I didn't, and just for the record, I denied that from the beginning, and no evidence of that has ever been presented. I've denied it from the beginning. No evidence ever came out.
Can you tell me
the reason why?
Go ahead.
The reason why there's no evidence is because it didn't happen. That's literally just a narrative that came out of a clip that exists that's about 90 seconds long, which is all of my involvement with anything like that. It's literally it's 90 seconds of me talking on a stream that was like 4 hours long. And it happened during a time when I was reviewing something about Mr. Girl because he makes interesting content. I was reacting to some of it.
Sure.
It was during the time that he was on Mr. Girl on Destiny as an orbiter with Destiny. He was during that period right after the chicken and waffles thing when Mr. Girl was on a crusade to make sure that Destiny was very aware of how important it was that Nick and all of his friends need to be referred to as Nazis. And he was saying that the reason why is that it's equivalent to Holocaust denial, and all of us wanted to literally kill him and his family and stuff. And he was like he was going on at length for a long, long time about all this stuff about us. I say us because I was streaming on Cozy at the time. So anyway, so while I was doing a reaction to some other bit of his content, it was not that, someone came into my chat, someone who had seen Mr. Girl on Destiny's stream, and they started looking into him. Other people, they were not me, not even in my audience. Somebody came into my chat and said, hey, Big Tech, guess what? I reported one of Mr. Girl's videos. I think it was the I'm a pedophile video, the one that was called that. So he had these edgy, sort of naughty videos that were really pushing the limits. You joke or not, isn't it like naughty and pushing the limits of what may or may not be acceptable on like a family-friendly site where there's advertisers, things like easy to flag. So it's sort of like a low-hanging fruit for somebody who wants to harm him. They came in and told me that they pressed the report button on that video, and then they came back the next day. This had already happened before he was alerting me that this already took place. Let me know that happened and that the video's now gone. Now me, who's in the middle of the
because
stream,
it happened
late at
on
night,
your channel. They got
no, this happened, and then this person came in and told me about what had happened on my channel.
Right.
My reaction to that was, good, fuck that guy. Report all his videos. You know what? We should report him every single day. In fact, I should be doing that. Why don't I do that? We should all go report him. I did like a yes and like on top of it, and it was in the time when he was throwing a bunch of stones at us from YouTube. So he was calling us all Nazis, saying that we all want to kill him and kvetching endlessly.
I don't think that makes it okay.
I'm not saying that what I said was okay.
Okay.
All I'm saying is that's all that I did.
Are you going to formally apologize right here for saying
so that? What I want to clear up is that that's all that I
Do you
did.
disavow?
I'm saying I did that, but that's all. There was no organizing a brigade. There was no activity in my Discord server. Nobody I know reported him. Nothing like that. It was a 90-second clip. Everything I did is caught on tape. There's nothing else. So this narrative of I'm responsible for a mass report, we don't even know if there was a mass report. All we know is that he did lose his channel. How many does it take? Does it take one? I don't know. Was it literally that guy who came and told me about it, who I reacted to? I don't know. But this idea that I went out of my way to get Mr. Girl deplatformed is a false narrative that I don't want to encourage you to continue repeating it.
Yeah, you could have contributed, but you definitely didn't brigade, but you said it. You said that, and that might have made it worse. That?
It may have. No, I wish I didn't say it, to be perfectly honest. I wish I didn't say it.
Why not?
And a lot of my fans think it's awesome. No, fuck that guy. We love that. Don't ever take it back. No, I wish I didn't say it. It's actually not cool. I meant it funny. I meant to be funny. When I woke up the next day and they were letting me know that he lost his channel, I was like, oh, fuck. Like, oh, shit. Like, that was my response. Like, oh, no. So and then they're hitting me up in DMs. Like, can you call in and talk to Destiny? He wants you to justify this clip that's going around about you. I'm like, oh, man. And then I come in, I call Destiny, and he's like, so you're pro deplatforming? I'm like, what? It's not. We don't deplatform. The tech companies do the deplatforming. It's up to them. Well, you did a mass brigading SWAT thing. I'm like, wait, what? No, I didn't. Well, there's this clip. Do you not? You pretending that clip doesn't exist? And I got caught in this whole thing. It was a messed up scenario, but what I'm saying is...
So do you think you should... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just saying if I could go back and redo it, I wouldn't have said that, to be perfect. And mostly just because, honestly, it probably still would have happened to him anyway, but at least I wouldn't get blamed for it. I'm literally getting blamed as if I went and organized some sort of like thing to where I went out with like...
That's a non-apology. That's a non-apology.
Why would you say... But you could have gone all day and say, like, fuck that guy, he sucks, right? You don't have any problem with that. Just like
if I had been saying that and then he lost his channel, would anybody blame me? The only thing is I made the joke of like we should report him every day. Fuck him, hit the report, keep going. I did like a yes and of what the guy was already doing. Wasn't my idea. Yeah. I guess the idea is that this guy who's calling us all Nazis and throwing stones at us, what happens when somebody comes and tells me that they got his video taken down? What I'm supposed to go is like, wait a minute, guys, hold on. That's too far. No. Disavow. I'm a good guy. I'm supposed to do that, I guess, and I didn't. So that's why.
But you're saying, did you make it clear that it was a joke, or you were kind of riding the line? You got
definitely
caught up.
riding the line. Definitely riding the line for like a minute and a half. I didn't do like a segment. I didn't go and report the channel. There was no follow up. I forgot about it.
See, to me, the problem with it isn't so much like ethics per se, as it is, if we do that to each other, then all of our channels will get right? Isn't that the problem? It's like kind of
it's dangerous.
It kills creativity.
First of all, no. First of all, no. No, because not every channel has a bunch of bannable stuff on it.
Yeah,
if that's the case, if that's the logic, if that's the case, then if I don't like Destiny, all I have to do is tell 20 of my friends to go report all of his videos, and he'll lose his channel, right?
But Destiny's big enough to not be able to fail, the thing like Mr. Girl's channel just got deplatformed again, and there's no connection to you in it all, but about like child endangerment, but like he didn't post anything new, and there's no videos of children, and there's no like they just had cleared his channel, so there's no way that it could possibly it was literally just
unless somebody found something. I mean, something that they don't want on their platform. I mean, the point is The point is, if you want to make a bunch of content that walks the razor's edge of what's allowable and what's not, and you got lyrics in your song that's like, I'm literally a motherfucking pedophile, I'm gonna rape your kids and stuff like that, is the don't clip it. If that's the lyrics in your song and it's like, all right, and then it's like, hey, but my free speech though. It's like, well, good luck. I mean, if you make yourself an easy target and then you get taken out.
No, but that's pussy shit.
But that argument that you're
blaming the victim.
No, but that argument that you're using is also applicable to like that argument can be used against. He clearly meant
that as a joke.
That argument can be used against you because you're saying that like you made these comments and stuff, and that you don't like that people are blaming you for the deplatforming of Mr. Girl, but you know, like you were walking the line, you were on the razor's edge there, so you can't blame them for thinking that.
And I don't blame anybody. I'm just coming in to clear it up.
Okay.
Now I said of Destiny, he was on air, or he sent out a tweet or whatever the hell, saying that he was taking mushrooms, and I said, if you're taking mushrooms and you have firearms, you should surrender those firearms. And I added Governor Ron DeSantis in Florida, where he is, which I think they should have sent agents to take his firearms from him.
Yeah, so you're a narc.
Yeah, I don't care. I think it's wrong to be glamorizing doing illegal Schedule I substances to seem cool. Why are you doing that to a group of young people? Shouldn't do it. That's why that law exists. And you shouldn't have guns if you're going to do that. I don't think you should have guns if he's doing shrooms. Now, I understand that, like, in culture, like shrooms, okay, whatever. Or I think it was doing LSD. It's generally seen as, like, you know, whatever, recreationally okay, tolerated among people of younger age. But I still think it's not good to glamorize doing LSD. There are a lot of fucking people whose lives were messed up. You ever heard of the fucking 60s? A lot of people got really fucked up from doing drugs that they shouldn't have been doing. And you shouldn't glamorize it. And why do it? Why glamorize it? Why say I'm doing LSD today? Because you're a loser, you're insecure. Just do it if you want to do it. Don't glamorize it.
Gets those clicks. I think we just got to get kids.
I don't think
we gotta have some way to make it so that kids aren't watching this shit. So then, you know, people can be adults.
No, that was my point.
He should not be glamorizing drugs.
Yeah,
but like glamorizing. All
right,
glamorizing drugs
here we are
to
back
adults.
In the same conversation. There's a bunch of stuff that you're doing that shouldn't be, you know,
seen by kids.
I don't. Yeah.
All of us. Honestly,
a lot of stuff that you do.
None of us want to be seen by kids.
Well, name one thing.
Oh, come on.
Name one thing.
No, don't need to.
Yeah, right. That's what they all say. Name one thing that I do.
No, because I don't want to get into it with you. I already made my point. That's all. I don't got to prove it to you.
So you're a fucking liar. Just say shit.
No, I'm not.
Don't back it up.
No, everybody knows what I'm talking about, and I don't.
Pussy.
Okay.
And a liar,
says the guy
too.
On the internet who
you are a fucking liar.
Says the internet
came on here.
Call me a pussy on the internet.
Tough when
guy.
You weren't.
Tough guy on the internet calling me a pussy. Got it.
I'm not trying to be a tough guy. I'm just saying.
Okay.
You say shit. Okay. I asked you to back it up, and you go, I don't have to. Well, that's pussy shit.
I don't have to. No, I don't have to, and that's it. And you're just gonna have to deal with it. How about that?
The least you could do is just change that picture
Goodbye.
if you're kissing your daughter. You bring
that's
that
kind of shit that
you bring it on yourself.
I bring it on myself.
With that picture.
Okay. This is what I bring on myself. Are you fucking crazy? Are you crazy?
You know what people.
Mind?
You know
you
what
people.
Think
a 13-year-old should see this PFP?
No,
what the fuck is wrong with you, dude?
A 13-year-old has. That's
what
not the issue.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
That's not the issue. It's not that.
What is wrong with this picture?
No, it's that.
Are you out of your mind?
It's that it signals to the people that think that you did it that like you are brazenly like pointing it in their face.
I did what? That I did what?
That you had sex with your daughter.
Okay, what is this signal?
So the people
Those
there are
people
lots
are crazy.
So people think you did that, and then having that as your picture like it makes them like even if you didn't do it, like it makes them fucking like holy fucking shit freak out.
Only crazy people. You are crazy, Smeth. You're crazy. Only a crazy person would say that this is what a rapist. I don't even know what I mean.
No,
I don't
I'm
even.
saying
This is a
you're
little
signaling
girl.
you're signaling to the people that think that you did incest, like when you post that as your profile picture, you're signaling to them to rile them up.
I'm not. Only a
You
crazy
are.
person would make
You
that
are.
connection.
Yeah, but that's why you're
No,
doing
you're
it.
crazy.
No, you're doing it to rile up crazy people, right? So like, but your own like
So
you're
I riled you up because you're crazy. No, this
I'm
picture
I'm just
was
saying you're
selected before I was ever on YouTube as like my YouTube profile when I was doing religious debates. What are you talking about? You're saying this profile picture is one of the things that
it's a
that
very wholesome
fucking
profile
loser
picture.
who was just on here, that lying fucking pussy loser who was just on here, can point to say this channel should be mass flagged. You're out of your fucking mind, dude. You're out of your fucking mind.
It's a wholesome picture, just but like void of context. I don't think that the picture is bad. I think that you're using it to freak people out.
Okay,
But you know that you are.
No, you're. Other people have said something before about my profile picture, but that freaks someone out. It's like the most wholesome picture. I don't know what could be more wholesome. It's my daughter. I'm lovingly kissing her on the cheek, and she's delighted. What the fuck is provocative about that?
Because people think that people think that you had sex with your daughter.
Yeah, I understand that people think that.
I know.
But they're crazy. I mean, that's why I don't know. What does this do? This provokes them to say, like,
Yes.
hey, yeah, I did.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Well, then, I mean, what wouldn't?
I don't anything else.
All right. I don't know. So I should change my profile pic because a fucking crazy
you
idiot
can do whatever
like
you want.
Says
You can do whatever
that
you
this
want.
makes it seem like you're provoking.
No, I
and
think
sort
you
of
know
like,
that.
I don't know that.
Well, that's what I think, but maybe I'm just wrong. Who
Thorp,
are you?
What's up?
Hello.
I,
I like your
it's
glasses.
me. Yeah. Picked them up today. Way too expensive, that I can tell you. But
They look
so
like
expensive.
designer glasses.
Yeah, they are. And yeah, not really. It's not. But the optical lenses were the expensive shit. No, the frame $150 or $160.
Yeah.
But the glasses, no, they're all together $500.
Wow.
Yeah. And I don't even like the color of the glasses. I want them blue.
I think it looks really good on you, buddy.
Yeah, thank you. Hey, cool. At least now I have two glasses. No, I can
Blue would look cool though because of the orange.
Yeah, these are like they call it brown. No.
Amber.
Yeah, what? Yeah, right.
Nice.
Okay.
Thank you.
What do you have to say then?
So, nothing.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to pester this environment with my unfriendliness.
Jorga's just hangs out.
No, I want to say that the picture absolutely is innocent. But I also, I have to criticize this thing. I mean, it's not your fault, Ben. But Ben, when you, back then, when you were younger, like, gave your daughter a kiss on the cheek, no?
Yeah.
In that avatar picture, you look a little bit like Justin Trudeau. That is not.
That's a scandal.
That is a scandal, exactly. Look at that. It looks like Justin Trudeau. No?
I look good there. I'm gonna
get
back to that look. Clean shaven, nice haircut.
Mm-hmm.
Not really. All right, I got to get back with Smith. Grace, stop.
Okay,
All
so you don't understand.
Okay, so
you don't understand. You said that you don't understand how Mr. Girl is deplatformed, or like why?
I think that he deplatformed himself. I'm going to be honest and say that. Maybe that's a provocative statement, but I think he sort of deplatformed himself by sort of trolling himself with this like moralism where he keeps like changing. I think when he came on, I saw some of his early stuff where he's saying, I'd love to talk to Nick Fuentes. Of course, I'm not going to agree with him, but we should talk. And then by the end of it, he's like saying like these people need to be deplatformed, and then he gets deplatformed. Well, he shouldn't be surprised.
I don't think he said, actually, he's against deplatforming. He didn't say that they should be deplatformed.
Oh, well, in a sense, he said Destiny was wrong to have him on
Right,
his stream,
but
and that's a form of platforming.
Sure, you're right then, but he didn't say, he doesn't think that people should be like banned off of YouTube because of their opinions and shit.
Well, why wouldn't he say that if he says,
dude,
like,
I think
Destiny shouldn't have
YouTube
him
is
on?
such a fucking like they need to, if they don't like his content, they should just fucking demonetize him. You know, they should just Mr. Girl, because that makes sense. Because having people on your platform, like,
He already demonetized himself, right?
Well, no, he still would get ads and shit like that. Like but having people on your platform that you don't want to be making money from ads, that makes sense. You don't want your advertisers to be that makes sense to remove them because you don't like this person associated with your ad revenue.
Yeah.
But removing them from their platform when YouTube is just so fucking big. I mean, I understand it's a private company, but it's just like if you get banned off of YouTube, it's like if you're a video maker.
I think there's a problem with the type of justice, okay, that depends on reporting. Do you know what I mean? So, like, for example, speeding. You could have people call in, now, this guy was speeding. It's a problem because it's going to tend to be used by, like, personal enemies. It's actually a problem in this state, which is a blue state, with the assault and battery charge. If you so much as touch someone, it's considered assault and battery. And I asked a police officer that, and he's like, well, yeah, we wouldn't do anything, but like, yeah. So, but it's only when the quote victim reports it, which happened. My son decided to do that. He reported me for assault and battery. I didn't do anything to him that even remotely would qualify as that. But I had to go to court multiple times and was processed and went to jail because of this. Then his mother also used domestic violence. She made something up. But even if she hadn't made something up and lied bald-facedly, almost any, like if you push your wife, she could call domestic violence, right? If you just push her out of the way to get to the fridge. It's ridiculous. And it's like, it's a problem with justice that it's like, first of all, the barrier is so low for reporting.
It's really hard to prove like much either. Like, so if they had a
threshold,
it's
a real problem.
If they had a threshold, like you have to do this much violence, you know, that would be hard bar to set, and then it would
usually
be
it means substantial injury, which would usually mean like a broken bone or like something where you had to go to the hospital and like, you know, there's clearly, but
and it shouldn't be across the board. Like maybe there's like some, like maybe they should wag their finger at you if you like, you know, push your wife. Maybe, but like it shouldn't be the same as like punching away from the, like, you know.
You think the police should come and visit you if you push your wife out?
I'm trying to give like the smallest possible increment. Like if it's a spectrum, and instead of black and white, you would then maybe if it's a spectrum, like there should be more substantial like intervention, more substantial intervention, and then to the point where it's like, well, you need to be removed from society. Like,
yeah, sure, yeah. I mean, it's a problem because if you lower the bar too much, then like I believe that most police will tell you, like off record, that most of what they do is just they become the third partner in a domestic violence situation that both people are participating in. They're just using the police as like a third. You know what I mean? It's like part of the abuse.
Yes, but
the police are used as part of the abuse.
How would you like fix the system then? What is your idea? You've got to have.
Yeah, I mean, so for example, for sexual assault, to me, it's like no way. This like you can't say like, well, I was afraid he's going to hurt me, so I gave in, or anything like that. There needs to be like the threat of physical violence. I think which is very hard to prove, but like there needs to be. I'm not saying there needs to be a weapon.
I think women
that
do
would help.
they do actually give in a lot because literally they know that they can't escape. But the thing is, women give in. I think like women giving in, women shouldn't give in. Women shouldn't.
They
give
have
in.
to fight.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
They
if
shouldn't
you
be
say
giving
if you
in,
want to
but-
put this guy in jail, then you should have fucking fought him.
But also, you don't want to like get beat up too. It's scary. Like so.
As opposed to getting raped.
Beat up and raped, you know, because you're gonna get raped either way.
You could make an argument. I wouldn't make this argument, but there's make an argument. Look, no one could put their penis in you if you want to prevent them from doing so. It just can't happen. If you unless they knock you out, then they can. Okay, but short of knocking you out, there's no way you can get a penis into someone who is just not
I
into
don't
it.
agree. I don't agree because
Who is not allowing you to do that.
let me
it's
run
really
through.
hard.
Let me run
But
through a
I can
hypothetical.
barely get it in when they're willing.
Let me run you through a hypothetical. All right. So I'm
Yeah.
a woman. All right. You're pinning me down. Okay. Well, the other way because I'm a man. All
You
right.
like being submissive.
I'm the big man. Okay. And I'm pinning you down. You're a woman. Okay.
Yeah. How about
And-
anal? Anal is impossible to do
Sure.
without.
Okay, so I try to do it, and you're like, no, and you're pushing. So I just punch you in the face, and you have a black eye now, and now you're like a little bit of pain, and you're struggling, and I keep beating you. Eventually, you're gonna let me do it.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know.
That's the fear. That is the fear. That's why
him
women give
punching
in.
you in the face is a crime. I admit that's a crime.
Yeah.
It gives you a black eye. That's a crime.
But
I don't know.
But you don't want to get punched more, so that's why women give in because they're afraid of the men's physical ability to hurt them.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't understand these situations. Why would a guy want to do this to a woman? I guess it's like anger at her or like at women in general or something. But like
mommy issues, something.
Yeah, I don't think it has to do. Most people think it has to do with being horny. I don't think it has to do with being horny. And I don't think pedophilia has to do with finding children sexually attractive. I think it has to do with hating, the innocence of children. And I think that's actually true. You know that less than half of sexual child abuse involves pedophiles. Half of them are not even pedophiles. They're not even sexually attracted to children. So
yeah,
I don't know what I don't understand all this stuff. But what I'm saying is the standard where the cops should be brought in with guns should be a very high standard. And when that standard is met, it should be absolutely like a huge intervention.
No,
but this
we need
gray
something.
area down to like touching someone,
yes, I agree with you
ridiculous.
there. We agree with you there, but there needs to be some, because women are physically weaker. Like there needs to be some like a lot of this is bullshit. Like common law marriage is like that's an archaic thing that like can like fuck over men and shit. Like some stuff like that, it needs to go away. All right. But we do need some kind of protection for women from men. I think.
See, I actually think if you want to know about this, I think here's the problem. The sexual revolution in the late 60s really changed sexual morality. The common sexual morality. So, like, for example, you would probably tell me, well, you told me I sucked a dick.
Yeah.
I didn't like it. I didn't like the taste of it. Okay.
It was just
prior to the sexual revolution, that would be unthinkable for a normal male to say publicly, let alone to say it like sort of almost proudly, right? Or like most men will say proudly, I look at pornography. You said it on your thing. You're like daily. I look at I masturbate to pornography daily.
I look at pornography and I vote.
Right. And you're saying like I masturbate. Most people would say I masturbate frequently, publicly. Prior to the sexual
I publicly
revolution,
masturbate frequently.
well, but what I'm saying is I'm not trying to like shame you. I'm just saying the morality has changed. And now with the internet, like with the porn and stuff, it's like it's just seen as normal. Yeah. What would be unheard of? It was illegal to. It was even illegal in the 80s in the magazines. Like, right, there were all these laws. You couldn't like even, for example, sexual contact, penetration of any sort. You couldn't find in those magazines because They had a detente thing under Reagan, I think, where it's like, okay, as long as you don't show penetration, we'll let it go. But technically, all that shit was illegal. Those laws still exist. It's not legal to make pornography. Right? Okay, so
that.
pornography is illegal. Illegal. It's just not enforced. You don't believe me?
Yeah.
Illegal.
I mean, I think it's well, like prostitution's illegal, and pornography basically means you are paying someone to have sex. So like there's like some kind of like middle ground, or like some fucking way they get away with it. I don't know.
Technically, you saying that some fucking way to get it. I mean, technically, that's obscenity, right? That's public obscenity. You're using the F word. Okay, I'm just saying.
Do you care though?
No, I'm not saying No, I'm not saying I care. I'm just saying like, but like in the 60s, you wouldn't be able to say that. Yeah, see, it's a federal crime. Although the test was like, does a common person find it offensive? And now that would be different. But anyways, I don't want to get it. Grace, get that fucking thing.
Well, the distribution of it has to go down to probably like, so I guess you can't host a server that you can't host Pornhub in those states. You have to host it in California or whatever, something like that, because they'd be the distributor.
Well, I'm just saying these laws exist. Like you can't tell a police officer to go F himself or use profanity in front of him, right? He could arrest you for that.
You can actually. It's actually it's expressly prohibited speech, unless they were able to argue that it's fighting words, which is incredibly hard to do.
Okay, but that didn't used to be the case. If you swore in front of a police officer, they could arrest you for disorderly conduct.
Yeah, but I cherish free speech, and that's one of the ways we need to be able to cuss out.
But Smeth, just focus. Let's just focus on the point I'm trying to make. Our morality has changed significantly. What in the 1960s?
Well, I don't know what point you want me to focus on. Okay, get to your fucking point.
Right?
No,
you
I do
agree that the moral norms have changed
morality
enormously.
Yeah.
Okay, but the laws have lagged. Okay, so for example, generally speaking, I know this is hard for you to imagine. Generally speaking, it was immoral to have gay sex. It was seen as really shameful to have sex before marriage, although not as much as gay sex. Really immoral to have extramarital sex. Right? Like sex belonged within marriage, and the society basically agreed with that. Right? I
think that people still had sex outside of marriage.
Adultery was illegal.
They just didn't tell anybody, and they're afraid about
crime.
It.
Gay sex was a crime.
Like,
yes.
Yeah, but I don't think they didn't do it. Well, there probably was less gay sex.
Of course.
But I think sex in general.
No, they had gay bathhouses. They used to get raided, right? I mean, that happened here.
Yeah, but they probably did. No, they probably did actually have less gay sex when that was the case, because some people would have been dissuaded.
Yeah,
but I think in general, people did probably, the amount of adultery was probably greater than the amount of marital sex at that point still.
Well, so you're saying, but what I'm saying is the moral norms it was considered like a woman performing oral sex on her husband was like, a lot of women said like, no way. And but a lot of guys said like, well, I think they said like, yeah, no. I don't think many guys would have had a problem with it, but like they were like, yeah, no. I don't want her to kiss it was this thing. I don't want her to kiss my children with lips that have done that. Right. I mean, it's like hard for us to imagine how different it was, but like a lot of women never had oral sex, never thought in the wildest imagination, not like their fantasies of having anal sex with their husband.
Sure.
The idea that like your son is gay was like, what the fuck? Do not ever tell me about that. I think like, shameful beyond measure.
But a lot of these things like oral sex, I think people still did them. They just felt ashamed when they did it.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of women were like, okay, he enjoys it, whatever. I don't even know that I think that that's a problem, like in foreplay, or like, I'm not like, that can be a little puritanical, but But what I'm saying is we live in a different world. It's just hard to imagine a world in which like what we to get today would almost laugh at, like Playboy magazine was considered dirty. And if you like saw someone had a Playboy magazine, it was like for a lot of people, it was like, good God, that is a gross person. And that's just naked women. That's it. That's all that was on in there. So what I'm saying is the laws, but the laws never got addressed. So rape used to mean like something because it was like assumed that it's usually girls. Let's be honest. We need to protect girls from people who wildly violate the social norms. Right?
If you count prison, it's usually a man.
Well, yeah, that's a whole other thing.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I do think that's a problem. But let's just say, like with outside non-prison society, it was mostly to keep young girls who were assumed to be virgins. They were assumed to be virgins, and most of them, I think, were virgins at the ages we're talking about.
What ages?
For like up to it was 16 was the traditional
probably
age of
maybe.
Consent. Most of them were virgins, so it would be a wild thing that a girl would be sexually active before the age of 16. And of course, the danger there is pregnancy. If she becomes pregnant.
Yeah.
Okay, but now we have this whole abortion and birth control and all this kind of stuff. So what I'm saying is that like so we're in a crazy time.
Yeah.
Historically, sexually, like our norms are kind of crazy. Like in many states, a girl could be 1 day before her 18th birthday, and if someone, if a guy like me texts her my dick pic, I've committed a federal crime. The next day, she could do porn all day, every day, anal, black guys, whatever. Right, 10 guys at once.
Back then, what you had was you don't want the risk of pregnancy. You want to preserve their virginity and their purity and their innocence. But today we've done away with all of that, and now what we care about is a totally new concept called consent. And that is, I think I like that more.
But you know what? I know something interesting about consent because you're interested in what something. This idea of consent makes no sense. I've come to see this. Like, it actually makes no sense at all.
It does, but most people are wrong. It does, but most people. Okay.
All right. Let's go into this. But like, can I just give you an analogy? The Enlightenment attempted to say, like, let's get rid of religion. There's been all these fucking wars. Protestants. Who cares, right? Who cares whether the Eucharist is like right? People were like, this is crazy. Let's just start by like measuring shit. And it's like, okay. This is this big. This is this big. We can all agree on that, right? Because we're all toast from these wars, which I agree were a heinous scandal. But in actual fact, you don't solve what you're looking for is a better way to like a better rock to build on, right? And empiricism is like appealing because it's like, okay, we all agree this thing is like 3 inches high and weighs 5 pounds, right? Of course, it becomes a problem because like, what does that tell you about like what you should do? But at least it sounds better. And I think consent is similar. Do you understand what I'm saying? Even if you disagree with me about that, like that the Enlightenment sucks a dick.
So you're saying that consent? I don't understand the parallel between consent and empiricism. Consent and empiricism.
I'm saying there's a consent is an attempt to like instead of traditional morality, right, which is that marriage is for 2 purposes. One is unitive, one's procreative. The best place for that's within marriage. You know, the blah, 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 right? Sure. Anyone can tell you that.
I'm following.
It makes perfect sense.
Sure,
of course.
It's
perfectly consistent, but people were like, I don't know, shouldn't people be able to do what they want? Freedom, that's what we're about. Okay, so then you say like, okay, instead, it's just a matter of this thing of consent. But consent becomes... It sounds like, okay, do whatever you want to do. This is utilitarianism or libertarianism. Do whatever you want to do as long as it doesn't hurt someone else. Or do whatever you want as long as it's 2 consenting adults. And that seems like, okay, well, that's something that makes sense. And it doesn't.
Okay, well, okay.
You like it,
Your
but it doesn't
system
even make any fucking sense.
Your system actually sounds more empirical. Like the system where it's all about preserving virginity and it's about like making sure people don't get pregnant. That's very empirical. I think that the more non-empirical.
No.
Clearly is less empirical. Like the consent is less empirical.
No, you're mixing the two things. I'm just saying using empirical as an analogy. People were looking for a better grounding point.
And yet we came up with this fucking insane bullshit that's consent anyway.
But do you want to?
I want to explain.
It's just bullshit.
No. I'm going to tell you. Why everybody that thinks that consent is black and white is wrong. Like there is no moment where it's suddenly like, oh, now it's definitely not consent, and now it if you're 1 inch, then it is consent. That's because consent is literally like a spectrum, and all sex involves aspects that we are ambivalent about or we don't consent to. Like if you want to make your partner happy, like there's going to be some things that they want to do a little bit like that. You're going to be, okay, I'll do it a little bit like that, even though I don't give a shit about that. It doesn't do anything for me. I'm going to do it for you anyway. And sometimes you do a little bit more, and sometimes you will do something for your partner that you don't really care about at all. You just like, okay, I'll do this for you. And like it's what is that like those that ambivalence and that maybe disinterest or maybe you're even a little bit put off by it, but you do it anyway. That the existence of those types of things means the only way you can make sense of consent is if you see it as a spectrum where there's 0 consent and there's 100% consent, and everything is somewhere in the middle.
Okay, but I would say that. Here's the real trick. If you're talking about, okay, I believe there's such a thing as consent in marriage. In the traditional thing, the woman and the man should both be completely freely making this choice. I actually didn't consent when I thought I got married because there were like things that like a priest or me I should have thought about. Like, am I freely choosing this, right? Because I had a baby at the time. I was trying to preserve my job, etc. Okay, but like, that is truly like where consent makes sense. It's important that you're not getting married because you're pregnant. You know, the shotgun marriage. You're like, no. You're not getting married because your parents want you to marry this. It has to be freely something you choose. But if you want to talk about something like premarital sex, which I would claim, I know, and you know, is inherently crazy. It doesn't make sense.
Why?
It doesn't make sense to have sex with someone outside of marriage. Obviously, because it's a reproductive act, and yet you're not in any way suited to reproduce.
I don't think marriage makes any sense. Marriage is just something we fucking made up to fucking help society work better.
Okay, that's a ridiculous take. Marriage, having two stable parents who are committed to each other, is obviously, if we're looking at having children, reproduction, which is what sex is about, then that is the optimal circumstance to have children be conceived in. Obviously, This is not hard. Everyone agrees with that. There's no better, right? So like as a minimum standard, like really, you should have a mother and a father. Shit happens, okay, but like no one's ever come up with a better situation for a child to be conceived in than a mother and a father who love each other, who are committed permanently to their relationship and want to bring that child into it. Obviously, right? It's a no-brainer. But
no,
it's a no-brainer. Oh, come on. What's a better situation?
Here's a 1-for-1, and I don't know what 1-for-1. In the wild, orangutans. I told you this before. Orangutans in the wild, they mate, and then the man fucks off, and he does whatever the fuck he wants, and the female raises it. In captivity, though, they both co-raise it, and the male like does like tons of parenting and shit like that. The fact that they're in so marriage is like an animal in captivity. The captivity is society. We give up some of our rights, and as a male, you could just leave the woman. And if we were just like fucking like wild, like, but because we were living in a society, we give up some of our rights. It's for the betterment of all society.
This is logic. Apply logic.
This is logic.
No, that's not logical.
What is it?
Logical.
What is it if
You're
it's not logic?
assuming that because apes do something that therefore humans do something.
No,
There's no
it's
evidence
not.
of
It's
that.
not. No, it's not a
Wait a
because.
minute.
What I said was not a because statement. It was saying it was a comparison. I'm saying that the reason that we have marriage is because we want to give up some of our rights and have
No,
these certain
is all
structures.
Fiction. Rousseau's fiction. Historically, marriage has always existed in every
No,
society.
it has not.
With possible rare exceptions that just prove the rule. Yes.
Prove
marriage.
the rule.
Well,
I mean, you have to have a man and a woman fuck to make a baby.
Smeth, come on.
What about
the fuck
look?
are you talking about?
So most of human history, the majority of men didn't even procreate. Only the top, like the most highest performing men procreated, and they had
I've heard that.
They had
I don't know
harems.
that that's
They had
true.
harems of women.
I don't know that that's true. I mean, I've heard that theory. I think a lot of this stuff is like internet talk that you've thought of. Okay, but like kings and queens of old, it was a king and a queen, right? It wasn't.
And
I mean,
his
I understand
concubines. And
okay, yes, maybe. Yes. Okay, so
all the
polygamy-
bastards.
Polygamy would also, but polygamy kind of is the only other thing that sort of works in human history. One
Okay.
man, multiple women,
So
which
so
causes all kind of problems demographically. I understand that. So Christianity.
who
is right
raises
to
the
say
kid? Who
1-1.
raises the kid in polygamy?
Okay, but
Does
because
the man
do a certain thing.
No,
Fish
who
just
raises-
dump a bunch of eggs on the bottom, millions of eggs on the bottom. Does that mean that now we can go, well, you know what? Maybe we should just take our kids and throw them outside.
We've
No.
moved on. We've moved on. Who raises the kids in polygamy?
What do you
Does
mean
the
we've
man?
moved on?
Does the man raise? Does the man father
No, the
all of the
naturalistic
kids?
fallacy that you committed.
Who? That's no. I was just making a comparison. I wasn't saying it was. I was not making a because.
No, you're saying
statement.
because apes do this, therefore that's what
No,
we're
it was
doing.
not a.
That's
It was
true.
not a. It was not a causal statement.
What was the point of the ape thing?
I was just.
You're saying marriage is the product of.
It's not
captivity,
because
you
apes
said.
do it. It's not because apes do it. I'm just saying that like
You can't extrapolate from apes to us in any way, shape, or form.
Because something happened. Okay, so is the naturalistic fallacy that if I can explain how something can naturally happen, then that means it theoretically is also possible within humans. That is a fact.
The naturalistic fallacy is taking something, I think it is, taking something in nature. Like, for example, you hear this all the time. There are, it's wildly exaggerated, there is homosexual activity in the wild. Therefore, homosexual activity is natural.
Oh,
That's not true. That's not what natural means.
Well, I guess it's not natural, but that they don't mean it like that when they say that. They
you want
mean-
to take the sexual ethics of animals and apply them to humans?
No.
Then we're going to have a real hard time with all this.
This isn't
crying
ethics.
on behalf of women because
This isn't
in
ethics.
the wild, bitches line it up, and if they don't
Right.
line it up, they get fucking wrecked.
Right. I'm saying
So if we want to do that, let's do that. But don't do it selectively.
We do better because we want to not be like the fucking orangutan that leaves the babies. But you avoided my important question. In polygamy, who raises the kids? Does the father co-raise all of the kids with all the fucking bastards and his queen and his fucking concubines? Does he parent all those kids? No.
Well, I mean, so you're talking about a king. I mean, that's an unusual family situation. The mother doesn't actually, the head queen doesn't really raise her kids either, right? I mean, this continued in like upper class British culture that you'd have nannies and you'd have the court and all this stuff, right? You'd have wet nurses. Come on, are you familiar with life at all?
Sure. That's
History.
not life. Okay, that's history. But yeah,
There are unusual family situations.
So that
at the very top.
So now, like you asked me earlier, are there any situations that people are raised
Yes,
within
in
that
small
work
harems, yes.
that no, it's not the harem that raises the kid. It's either the single mother has to raise them alone, other people have to do it, or they get barely any parenting,
in like a fundamentalist,
and they turn into.
Let's say today, like a fundamentalist Mormon sect where the guy has 4 wives. He's the father to all those kids. Yes.
Yeah, that's not.
Yes.
That's different from most of history. They didn't do it like that. They only do that because of modern standards that we're living by now.
What do you mean? Who was the father to those kids?
Okay,
Middle
the
Eastern
king,
harem?
so the king we're talking
No,
about.
you're talking about king. I'm talking about your typical polygamous thing. It's a sheik who's like wealthy, He's got 4 wives or so. It's not usually 100 wives. I mean, it's very, very rare. It's like 3 or 4 wives. Okay.
So what kind of parenting
he's
do you
the
think he
father
does?
to all those kids. Yes.
So what do you? So what? Yeah, he's the father. But what kind of parenting do you think he does with those kids? Do you think there's enough of him to go around to parent all the kids of all these wives?
Yes, because
adequately.
Actually, being a father is not. You think I have 6 kids, right?
That's
being a father is not. It's not like you're one. It's not like you're 1/6 the father of 6 kids that you would be if you just had 1 kid. That's not true at all. It doesn't work inversely. How many kids you have is how much parenting. You know what I mean? Then the best parents would be the parents of an only child, and that's not true. Only children. Maybe you're one of them. No.
Yeah, I am. I am one of them. I am
okay.
One of them.
I mean, do you don't you often envy people with larger families?
I'm more fucked up, but also there's benefits. But
only kids are generally speaking like
more fucked up.
Well, whatever. I mean, the parents are overinvested a lot of times in that kid. Whatever. There's a lot of problems. I would say the ideal family size is like whatever 3, 4, 5, but it can be 10. It's fine.
Yeah, I think at a certain point there's a minute that there is a detracting, especially when some of your kids, because the thing that'll make it easier if you have 6 kids, that'll make it way easier if they're all closer in age. But once you get like way older kids and then like way younger kids, the parenting has to be very different. So then that makes the split harder.
The split
between parenting them, because if you have 6 kids that are all pretty close, then you can kind of parent them at the same time, and like the parenting that
you don't understand anything about parenting.
No, the
older kid. If you have, I mean, yes, octuplets. It's just nature. You want to know how many kids is the ideal number of kids to have? It's the number that nature like provides. Usually, 2 people who get married at a relatively young age have between 4 and like 12 offspring at the max. It's hard to do more than that because of breastfeeding. So don't you think nature has rigged it so it's like that's about right?
What do you mean?
I mean, other animals, if you want to get into, don't you think like the number, like the ideal parenting situation is the like natural number if you have normal pregnancies and normal spacing between the pregnancies, which happens with breastfeeding?
No, that's the naturalistic fallacy. No, that's the natural. I think the
between
I think the
3
ideal
and 8 is like about normal.
I think that is the naturalistic fallacy. What you're saying is like literally, but what I'm saying is I think my ideal of what a ideal family looks like I have different values that I go by.
Okay, but we're talking about nobody cares what you think about anything, right? We're talking about what we agree, like what makes sense, not like what you.
So we care about you think. We care about what you think that I agree with, but not what I think that you don't.
But we're drawing on a common kind of reason here. No, it's not just I think this.
Sure.
Think
but
that.
I think there's a divergence here where my.
But you're just what qualifies cop out. It's a cheap cop out.
It's not.
Stuff.
What am I copying out of? What am I copying out of?
Whenever you say like, okay, here's a whole bunch of arguments, and then as soon as you disagree with me, you go, well, that's just my way of thinking of it. It's different than your way of thinking of it.
This is the only time that I've done that. And what is it a cop out of? What am I copying out of?
To become a woman. Because, like, to be a man...
What am I copying out of?
No, I'm not going to do that.
What am I copying out of?
Instead of saying, like, okay, let's talk about what's a normal family size, you go, well, I have different values than you.
I think not normal, but I think that the ideal family size, literally is whatever the parents can do. Like, what if they have the resources or the time, or like, so like if you're really rich, maybe you can have way more. That's what I think.
Okay, but you think that for reasons, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because you prioritize the will of individuals, right?
No.
What about?
It's because I prioritize like the quality of the parenting.
Okay, so you're saying the ideal number of kids for a parent to have is however many kids the parents want to have.
No, it's the ideal number in my value system is the number of kids that they can have while still giving a quality childhood to those kids.
The maximum number, or just exactly how many they want to?
Well, I would say that over that is not ideal, and under that is acceptable.
Under what?
Under the amount
Under
of
the
kids,
maximum number.
like if having another kid means that like all of your other kids are like gonna like not be able to eat, you know, like then that's
I
not
agree.
ideal.
I agree.
So obviously
That's common
yeah.
sense, Smith.
Yes.
You moron.
That's why
Everyone
I used
would
it, because
say
it's
that.
because I was in a simplified example that we would agree on. It's because
Okay.
I'm smart.
But how about less than that? You're saying it's up to the parents.
Sure.
Okay, so
yeah.
no one's going to argue that you should have kids if like you're not able to provide them for them, or if
Right.
you have one kid who needs an extreme amount of attention.
Right. Maybe if you
shouldn't
have like
a baby right then.
yeah, you have a
Yes.
Down syndrome kid, then like it's not ideal to have another kid right then.
Sure. Okay, that's just common sense. Okay,
Yeah.
but the number is actually much higher than most people think of how many kids you can have before you run into that problem, especially in a place like the United States where you have a lot of resources, welfare, and those kinds of things. Okay, so but then now you might say, well, wait a second, without welfare, without society coming in, that you should stop at that, right?
Well, if welfare is included, like then that counts, I think. But like I don't think that's usually it's not very quality of life. Like you don't get a lot of money for having extra kids when you're poor. Like you get a little bit.
Yeah, but you have
it's
enough
not-
to feed them.
Probably, I would hope so.
See, it depends what you mean by quality of life. You would probably take it to mean 4 years, college education.
yeah, honestly, yeah.
White picket fence, suburban life, soccer practice, 2 cars in the driveway, Disney Plus, really lavish wedding when the girls get married, like $20,000 to $30,000
There should never.
wedding when the girls get
We
married.
need to
You're
do away with all that.
You're a bourgeois materialist, right?
We need to do away with
Children
most of that.
don't need any of that shit.
Yeah, we need to do away with most of that, especially a wedding. We don't have to have. I think you do actually in the current day. I think like my parents never got me a car, and I that put me at a severe disadvantage to all my peers that got cars from their kids. I had to buy my own car, and it was a piece of shit, and then it ended up burning down, and I ended up putting a bunch of money into it. And that kind of thing set me back a lot. I think that having enough money to
How did
be
you
able
burn
to
down a car?
it caught on fire, and it went into a big fireball in the middle. I had to park it in the middle of the street because I saw the fire, and I didn't want to be next to houses. And it was it went up like 20 feet in the air, the fire like from the engine, and it would burn into a crisp. And I had
And then
I had to take
it after that.
before that, and I had to take a shovel and I had to scrape. So after the firefighters came, and then after I had to get it, like I had to pay to get it like brought away, and I had to make sure that the tow truck guy didn't scam me by taking the money from the dump. Then I came back and I had to take a shovel and scrape off debris that was baked into the fucking pavement of my car.
It's like fucking 9/11.
Yeah, it was my 9/11.
My own personal 9/11.
Yeah,
That's great. Too bad you didn't capture it on video.
I have
That
a
would've been
video.
great
I have a
content.
video, but
Do you?
I would dox myself if I did it, if I shared it, because it's my
Because it would
street.
show what town you're in.
Yeah.
Why it would happen right in front of your house?
Yeah.
Really? You just get out the driveway.
Yeah, right in front of my parents' house. No, actually it wasn't right at the driveway. I was coming back from work, and I was almost to my parents' house, and like on the street, and then that's when it happened. I'm really glad that I didn't like park it in the garage or the driveway, or like it would have been a real big 9/11 if that happened,
Yeah, you don't want to get the house going.
Yeah.
And this is to show that you're a victim of something.
I don't remember.
Your
Oh
parents.
no,
didn't
no.
parent you.
I was saying that I.
You had to buy your own car.
I think that kids. I think that you should be able to get your kids a car when they're like 18 to have to give them the best shot at life.
Why can't you work and get a car?
I did, but it was a piece of shit because of that.
Well,
And-
I
and
mean,
you need a
you're
car to
saying
work.
It's child
You-
abuse not to
You
buy
need-
your child.
No,
a
it's
car
not
and
child.
make
It's
them
not
work
child
for it?
abuse. It's not child abuse. It's just it's not ideal. You need a car to be able to work. It's going to
So
be
what
way
you're
harder.
telling me is that you're telling your parents like retroactively, however old you are, you're like 26, right?
But they couldn't afford
You're
it.
saying 26 years ago that your dad shouldn't have put his penis in your mother because they weren't able to provide you with a car when you were 18 years old. You think that makes sense?
I mean,
Aren't you glad you're here?
Yes, yes, I'm glad I'm here. But like I like that. No, so yeah, if you are, they also only had one kid. But so I just think that you should plan, if you are a parent, you should plan on having to get your kid a car when you want your kid to start working and get a job. If you can give them a car, their shot is way better in life. Not having
buy
a car,
dude.
not having a car and trying to join the workforce is going to make everything a lot harder, and it's going to be...
Well, it depends where you live.
Okay, that's true.
Public transportation, etc. And maybe you could get a friend who has a car.
Yeah, maybe.
Or you could ride your bike or whatever. Oh, come on. You live in New England. You can't, there's no buses and shit. But it's hard with buses.
Yeah.
But anyways, my point is, Smeth, you're getting lost. My point is, when the mores changed, you know what I mean? The moral norms, like what's normal in society. Here's my basic point about consent. Women, okay, this is a little bit of a hot take. It's not at all controversial. Do not like being asked to consent constantly to something that they know is crazy, which is having sex with a man that they're not married to. They don't want to be asked, like, do you want to do this every fucking step of the way? They just want you to do it.
Nobody likes that. It's so unsexy.
No woman, ask a woman if she...
nobody likes that, and nobody likes...
Nobody likes what?
Nobody likes, like, when you, like... what you explicitly ask for consent for everything you do. Men won't like it. Women won't like it. It's unsexy.
No. Men don't like it. No one cares whether a man consents. How many men are going to accuse a woman of rape? I'm sure.
Well, no.
Like you were raped. It's just not. It's possible, but like, give me a break.
Yeah. But that's not what my point is. I'm just saying that it's unsexy. Like, if regardless of rape, if a woman was like,
right,
can I suck your dick now? Can I do this? Can I sit up and down?
Right, you're doing something that's crazy.
Did you don't
because you're doing something that's crazy. It's fun to do shit that's crazy, but you don't ask people.
You do actually.
If you can do crazy shit with them.
You do communicate non-verbally though. Like just by like so the thing. This is why I think it's perfectly acceptable.
But a lot of the better Smith. Let me tell you something. A lot of the better premarital sex you're gonna have. I'm not saying it's a 1-to-1 correspondence, but a lot of the best sex that a woman will say she ever had was the least consensual, where the guy really, he read the room right. It's chemistry. I understand you can read the room wrong. But that's what women. That's what puts a smile on their face.
So what I was saying was that
because you know why? You know why? Do you know why? Because
what I was saying was there is nonverbal communication. So when she wants to know that you are desiring her, and it's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine to, like, for example, go in for a kiss, and like you kiss her once and then she says I don't want to, and then you like don't, or something like that kind of thing. You have to know when you're allowed, like when
that's
that
right.
is.
But
that is communication. If you are unable to if you're unable to communicate on that level,
it's very hard.
If you're unable to communicate on that level, then you shouldn't be having sex. But or I mean, I guess then you need to if you can't communicate on that level, then I guess the consent sex contract shit is for you. You need it. Need it.
But can I tell you something essential about women? Okay, about women outside of marriage. Okay, what do they get turned on by more than anything else? You'll say,
desire.
They want to get off.
Desire.
They want to be desired.
Yes.
Okay, that's different than men. Men desire. They want to be desired, but they also want to. They want to drop a. They want to do the do.
It's so amazing
Smeth,
to actually be desired by a woman. It's so amazing to actually be desired by a woman. And once you get that, it's amazing.
But okay. This is the interesting part. This is not red pill or blue pill. They want you to be so profoundly desirous of them. Where'd you find that? Oh, okay, that's great. So it's like this interesting way in which it's like yes and yes and yes and yes, but it is the man who wants to put it in, right? Like say more than the woman. She likes it, but come on, there's a way in which it's the man who's looking to nut, right? Okay. But the woman loves that he's like really wants to nut in her. And the man loves the fact that the woman loves the fact that, you see what I'm saying? It's like it's a whole
well, I mean,
web.
I do see what you're saying. I know what you're saying, but like I think that that's just a product of the culture that we live in. I think that I think that women.
Oh, all right, let's
actually,
do that. Go to a dog park. The males are always the aggressors. It's natural.
Yes.
It's testosterone.
Yes.
They want to stick their thing in. If the woman doesn't want to, if the guy doesn't want to, it just doesn't happen.
Well, no,
Have you
okay.
ever seen-
No.
I mean, you say you look at porn. Have you ever seen how it works? If the man's not into it, it ain't happening. If the woman's not into it, it's mostly not happening.
It's because of
But
physiology.
then there's that gray area where it's like, yeah,
there is some like natural imbalance, but I mean, I was just looking at a fucking like clip of a female lion that's like the male lion's like sleeping and she starts like rubbing her ass all over him and like screaming at him to get him to wake up and fuck her. And then he gets up and does it. So like she's the one
we're not
that
talking
goes,
about lions. Yeah. Like I understand there's it's like the yin yang, right? But generally speaking, that's unusual. That caught your eye.
It's unusual, but I think
it's unusual. Usually the male's the aggressor.
And yeah, and I think that a part of the reason that is literally in like physiology, like men have to get the boner for like coital sex, and but I don't think the desire isn't there. I think that the desire is there. I think women actually might even have an imperative to actually be more horny, like at a baseline, like more horny at a baseline 24/7 that they have to live with all the time. Like, I think that is actually a thing that has been necessitated. Like, men get more, like, we get, like, overwhelmed with horniness.
Smeth, stop!
Why? No, fuck you. Everyone to do that when you're talking.
Okay, good.
When men get overwhelmed with horniness, and women have I think women naturally have, like, a baseline that they're always, like, pretty horny.
It's different, right? I mean, it's different. It used to be that women didn't even look at porn. They just couldn't look. They weren't visually stimulated by it. They would read Harlequin romances, right? Because it's all about the relationship. Now, in the lion case, I believe that the top lion's going to have several mates. So they're going to compete.
Yeah.
And that's what that female is doing. She says, like, I want you to nut in me. So that I mean, she's not thinking
so
this,
if
but like,
there was a
that's how it
harem,
works.
if there was a harem of like a human, like a king with a harem or whatever, I'm sure that the women there would have to that would necessitate different sexual behavior from them because they would have to. Yes, so that's why I'm saying that's why I'm saying it's a product of the situation. I don't think like if you change the situation, we'll behave sexually different.
Okay, yeah, I agree with you, but it's like the rock star, right? The rock star.
Sure, I do know it is. It is different, but
this is what Donald Trump got in trouble for, saying like, if you're rich and you're powerful, they want you to grab them by the pussy. He's absolutely correct about that. I think not every woman, but like there are a lot of women who throw themselves at you sexually.
Yes,
and I think that's true. Everyone knew it was true. That's why he got elected, despite saying that, because it's just true. Even though it might not sound presidential, but like that's just true. Now, but that's an unusual situation.
But the norm isn't the norm because we're biologically coded to it. It's because it's what's convenient and what fits easiest into society.
But it's not that those women are horny per se, right? They're saying, I want this guy to bang me.
Yeah.
Right? They're in a sense attracted to him, not to like dick. Do you see what I mean? Well, whereas a guy is more like, I just want some pussy tonight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that is actually a natural thing because like, or actually no, that is not a fucking natural thing. The reason that men fucking just want pussy is because it's kind of natural. It's natural. No, it's because
my dog just.
It's
wants,
because small gametes are when women have more selection power because small gametes are expendable. We like one man can impregnate 50 women and 50 women cannot just get like 50 babies in them at the same time. So
right, we can do all this biology stuff, but we can also just use common sense.
So I don't know,
And-
like these, like. So like yeah, but
But
I mean
look,
I'm the one
wait.
talking scientifically and like with rationality and
Well,
shit, and you're the one
no.
like but what comments whatever vague whatever
Testosterone.
hokey
Let's just say
pokey.
testosterone is a major influence that men have. Women have testosterone, but not nearly as much. Testosterone is correlated with sex drive, obviously,
Yeah.
and the drive to like even masturbate or look at pornography is much higher generally in men than in women. And women who are like sex addicts are just crazy, whereas men are sort of
aren't men.
naturally sex addicts.
Mm-mm.
Well, I think a guy who whatever a woman who masturbates as much as a man masturbates at the same age is probably crazy. Like the norm would be like, I don't know, a couple times a week or something like that for a kid 16 17 years old. A girl who does it that much, it's unusual. The drive's not there.
It's like playing.
She's
fucking-
crazy.
Dude, a masturbation session is like the same place in your life as playing video games. It's like it's just like something people do for fun.
But it's to relieve the tension caused by the sexual
I know
drive, which is
people
much
that
higher in men than women. At that age, it is.
But people that masturbate every
Oh,
day
come
don't have
on,
the
Smeth. We've
people
got to find a baseline.
people that masturbate every day don't have that tension. They don't. Like if you
Yeah, I know,
masturbate once a week,
Yeah.
then you're gonna have that tension. But like if you're doing it every day, it's just like playing video games. It's just
Right,
a
it's
fun
boring,
thing to
it
do.
loses- It's awful. Yes.
We got to find new interesting porn to look at.
Right, and then eventually you can't even get it up. Right.
Well, you just stop. If you really want to get up, just stop masturbating.
Yeah, stop all that stuff so that the natural stuff can, right. This is a way of trolling your own natural drive, which guys your age, guys in your situation who live by themselves, a lot of them are waking up to the fact that like, actually this sucks because all it's doing is isolating me. But anyways, I don't want to do this whole like kind of like masturbation thing. But what I'm saying, we have to have a baseline and say, okay, so my problem with consent is it's misandrist. It's misandrist because no one cares whether no man is going to complain that he didn't consent to being sexually gratified by a woman. No one's going to.
Yeah, but the key word there
So
is
it just
gratified.
Or whatever. I mean, it's possible, but it's rare that a man is like a woman is very like strongly giving him, vibes in a way that he's like going to go to court.
But it's rare
right?
because
if a woman's throwing herself at
no,
you,
I agree that it's rare. I agree that it's rare. But I
generally
think
you like it. You tell your buddies about it.
we're having the
She
same
wants my
disagreement over
dick.
and over. We're just doing different examples. But can we just agree to disagree on this? Like I think it is rare because of the context and situation that we're in. I think that in different situations, like in different like structures or like in a weird social like situation with a king or something, it's not the same. It doesn't play out
Generally,
the same.
okay, in some unusual situation. But do you
Yeah.
understand the phrase "the exception proves the rule"? Do you know what that means?
What does it mean if it doesn't mean exactly the words explicitly that it is? That the exception.
What it means is that because you can find an exception, and it is so exceptional, that proves that generally it's not that. It's
Well, no,
you're
I
actually
agree that-
proving that generally speaking, that's not how it works.
No, I agree that generally that's not how it works, but I just think that that's because it's easiest like that. If we had
No,
a
it's
system where
nature.
it was
Nature.
right, that's what we disagree on.
You don't think that throughout history, 16-year-old boys have been chasing 16-year-old girls and not vice versa, generally speaking, to get laid?
I think no, okay, I do think
Come
there
on.
is. I think men are more likely to chase and shit. I think men that impulse is like absolutely nature. But
Look at a penis, right? It's an aggressive thing. It wants to get into her. It's
But if-
throughout nature. It's throughout. How can you
there's
do
there's
this
some of there
fucking
there no
DGG
there is
thing?
no I'm literally saying I just agreed with you. Like there is absolutely some of that, but I don't think that is the most. I think that they're like if you were to like Truman Show, like just like psyop mind control a whole society where all the women were taught like they taught their daughters to chase men, and all men just like expected women to come after them, then it would work the other way. Like in Japan, they have like a holiday, like on like their Valentine's Day, the girls give like candy to the guys, and the guys like reject them or not. It functions
yes, but that's the exception.
But it's
proving
another
the rule.
exception. I know that the norm is like that, but I'm saying in a different culture, it's different. In a different situation, in a different structure, in any different structure I can find, it is going to be different.
No, in general, males have a stronger sexual drive, and society protects women from being predated on by them.
They
But
should
also,
protect women.
society provides like cultural rules to protect both men and women. But consent ends up being purely misandrist, anti-male, which is one of the reasons probably you wanted to become a female. It's tough being a guy.
No, well, okay, I agree that the way that people talk about consent is that, but not the way I talk about it.
Well, what do you talk about?
I talk
You
about
mean
consent.
you take chemistry into effect?
No, no. I'm saying no. That's all fucking. That's a whole fucking retarded argument we were having for no reason. But I think consent is a spectrum, and nothing is 100% consensual, and nothing is 100% unconsensual. Even the most, like you even kind of said, even like the worst rape, there's like 0.1% consent there happening. There has to be, like, but
no, not if you're
there's not
out.
enough. But there's not but there's not enough consent for us to consider it consent, and like it's a spectrum, and I think that we need to really be able to acknowledge that if we want to point out exactly what makes something unacceptable and what makes something acceptable within the spectrum of consent.
But what I'm saying to you is, I just think this doesn't work. You take Russell Brand, for example, right? You take this, I don't know these allegations, right? They run a spectrum from like he groomed me to he raped me. Okay, but even the worst one, rape, he's got her up against the wall and she's saying no, and he puts himself inside of her. Now, okay, let's really go there. Let's say she's not lying. I'm sure she's exaggerating. Okay, but he's known to be he's known to be a sexually voracious guy by his own admission. Publicly. Okay, so he's not like is she saying no like in this kind of coy way, but like the fact of the matter is she's up against the wall and he slides into her, right? And okay, so how do you know what that is? Even in her case, how do you know what that is? Like, really, was she squirming? Or she just allow him in there?
You're saying like, okay, so in the case of Russell Brand, you're talking about the
you can't just
believe
like
all
stick
women
a dick inside a woman. Like
you're talking about. So
easily.
the only reason,
the
only reason we can know is you're ignoring so many things. Like you're ignoring the fact that there's like a threat that like makes like women afraid, and makes the women become more complacent because they're afraid of the danger posed. And
right,
like there's also power differential, and
exactly, he's a celebrity and she's not. Okay, right.
That's less important in my opinion. But like if she were like in some kind of similar like career and he could help her career, then that would be more important.
All this up?
It's
I don't
hard.
understand, but what if she's
it's really hard. It's really hard. But
what if she's just a slut who likes it a little rough?
Sure, but she said she wasn't.
Gonna know?
But the thing is, she made an accusation.
She says that 20 years later. What
right.
If she,
so the thing
of a virgin? No.
So false accusations can happen. But when there's 4 of them at the same time, now that exponentially it makes each accusation more bulletproof, because the likelihood of 4 people making false accusations is way lower.
Look, hundreds of thousands of people have accused me of doing something with my daughter. It doesn't make them any more
but not with them. I mean, I could say that you raped me, but I mean, I need like some level of proof that I had an interaction with you at least to make that false accusation.
Well, her own brother made this accusation, and her own mother made this accusation. It doesn't make it any more correct. I mean, it's an absurd accusation to begin with. But what I'm saying is, in post-sexual revolution, see, pre-sexual revolution, that story would be seen as, first of all, they would say, what were you doing in his hotel room, right? Why were you, a single woman, in a single man's hotel room?
Yeah.
Right? Like, this
I don't know.
is
Wait,
like
I'm
what
I'm distracted
bad
right
people
now.
do.
I'm distracted. I'm trying to.
What's going on?
Well, yeah, yeah. If you're in the hotel, I mean, you probably want to have sex.
Well, I don't know that that's true, but it'd be weird, right? I mean, there were all these safeguards, like you don't go into I mean, everyone would know if you're back in the day, if you're a single woman who's attractive and you're going into a celebrity's room,
Even if you're
right,
unattractive. Even if you're unattractive, you go into someone's
well, if you were a
room.
90-year-old Chinese lady, it wouldn't be a problem.
No, I mean, like, no, I think that if you go into someone's room alone with them private that you've never met before, like a hotel, like
Socially,
you probably want to
maid,
have sex with
right.
them. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I mean that is sort of the unwritten rule, right? If you go home with someone, if you go into their hotel
That's
room,
not the rule, though. That's not people. That's something people ignore. Like that is part of the nuance that people are ignoring. That I want to be included.
Oh, you do? Okay, yeah, because a lot of people would say now you're blaming the victim. I would say
No,
if
it's
you
just
could have stayed in the
context.
lobby, if you could have stayed in the lobby with this guy and flirted with him, okay, as soon as you go into his room, a lot of times people will say, I think correctly, like that is consent. That's consent. What do you think? Why do you move from a public to a private scene? Why?
Right. It's at least like it's for sure you're establishing a certain level of trust and intimacy. What else do you do in a bedroom other than sleep and fuck and like so?
Well, hotel room, you could someone could say like let's go upstairs and have some coffee.
A good
and we'll watch a TV show, a movie
That's
together
weird.
on the couch. Give
Okay,
me a
watching a
fucking
movie.
break.
Yeah,
you
but
don't watch a movie with a sexually, you know what I mean? Like
a good excuse you could do if you wanted to say that's not what it was. You could say we were there to do drugs. I bet that I would believe.
Yeah, drugs up in his room.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
I would believe that.
Right, but
even then, doing drugs with someone usually, dude, people that are drug addicts, they don't have to have any riz because they just have sex with other drug addicts all the time.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
They go hand in hand. I mean, that's
it's
even
pretty-
worse.
It's pretty.
Well, actually,
fucked
I
up.
was going up to do drugs in his room. I didn't expect there to be any hanky panky. You're out of your mind.
Yeah, well, they don't even have because when they're fucked up, they don't even have the mental capacity to have riz. So it's just they just.
But I'm just saying these are unnavigable waters. I don't see how
It's navigable.
anyone,
It is
a judge
navigable.
or anyone else, can
The
possibly.
judge. Yes.
I don't see how anyone could possibly adjudicate these things.
Okay.
Normally, back in the day, they would say you went into his whole hotel room. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
So yeah, but the thing. So
I don't want to hear it, sister. Get the fuck out of here. Now, I would.
I want to hear it. No, I think
that's how that should
impossible.
return.
I think that it's impossible to adjudicate it on that level because we need to have a black and white law. But that
Based on
law.
consent?
Yes, but it's that part is really hard. It's really hard to make that black and white. And you're right. You're 100% correct. But in a conversation about consent,
Look, my daughter.
it doesn't. We don't. In a conversation about really quick, really fucking quick. In a conversation about consent, we don't need to have that black and white judicial kind of attitude, and we can talk about it in a spectrum. And there might be a way to do that legally in a courtroom, but not with our courtroom.
But how can you? It's he said, she said, right? I mean, what's the controversy? How are you going to possibly? Grace was in a situation. I mean, she was on stream. But she was with a guy who was significantly older than her, who was like a fuck boy by trade. Okay. She was in a bed with him because they didn't get two beds, even though they thought whatever. The idea was there's going to be two beds here. So she got in a bed with him, but there were other people present. He kind of made a move on her, and she like reached out to one of the other guys who came and sort of like provided a kind of sexual buffer. Okay. I wouldn't say in that circumstance she was consenting because it's not like they planned to sleep in the same bed. Do you see what I'm saying? She was in a hotel room with him, but they were planning to go to this hotel room and they planned to have separate beds. But I guess like the advertisement didn't turn out to be what the room was. There was really only one bed to sleep on and the floor. But, you know, and she also trusted him and I trusted him too. And he, you know, he made his little move, but that's all it went. But even if he had been more aggressive, she would have just said, I think, like, cut it out. I just don't see what's hard about that. Now,
that is we need to really we need to fucking teach women to do that, because the women that can't do that, there are women that can't do that. There are women that can't do that, and it's because we made them. I find that interesting.
Interesting.
That's true though. They really they're retarded.
Because they're whores.
They're no, it's not because they're whores. It's because they literally they're scared and stupid in that moment. And like maybe they're smart in other contexts, but in that moment they're becoming scared and stupid, and they don't know that they're allowed to say no. They're afraid that if they do say no, I really think I think that we just have not taught women how to do this, because we teach women that they are the object of desire and that they are supposed to be just like whatever's coming to them, like they just have to like put up with it or like figure out. So we need to teach them that they can have agency.
That's interesting, because like Not So Erudite, you know her? She says like, I teach women how to say no and to avoid situations and to not escalate. And I think she's right to some degree, but I actually don't think this is skill. It's common sense. And I think a lot of girls want to play with something. That's what they want to do. They want to play with something, and then they decide, oh, I don't want to play with it anymore. And then that's a problematic thing for them. I don't really think that, I don't know. I mean, it's like this idea, like, let's say she just said like, okay, I'll go ahead and just let this guy have sex with me. And she came to me and said like, I don't know what happened. I would say, what do you mean you don't know what happened? You know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about?
You guys hey, Grace. Great. God damn it, Grace.
Hi,
I was about to start saying that I wanted to start wrapping it up, and now you're gonna like tell me that I hate
Condoms
you.
Are wrong.
That I hate you, and I just want to go because you're here.
Smeth.
But Grace, I want you to respond to this situation.
I'm listening. I have something I want to say to you guys.
Smeth says that we need to teach women, not little 5-year-olds.
Give Grace the agency. If you do not give her the agency right now to speak for herself, then she will not know how to consent when shit goes down. Okay.
Sure.
Listen, this is what I want to say. Smeth says there are some women who can't say no if a guy is pressuring her. I'm not saying Gary was pressuring me, but whatever. A similar situation where a guy wants to whatever, and they just go along and they can't say no. Okay, there is a distinct difference between what you're proposing, which is like they don't want to have sex, but they kind of like they can't say no, and they don't really want to have sex, but they are afraid of the social implications of not having sex with this person. That's different. If you have sex with somebody for clout or for social status or because people expect you to and the friend group, whatever, I don't know how it exactly works.
But they're whores
if you have sex with them for that reason, that's not you not knowing how to say no. That's you doing something for a certain purpose.
Right.
That's not the same as you not knowing how to say no.
You want plausible deniability so that you can pretend that you didn't want to after in that situation. And that is
you
need to let these women be whores without them being afraid of being whores, or else they're gonna always want that plausible deniability. You have to stop like shaming them so they could just admit it. Like, yes, I want to fuck you for clout. If you let women admit that, they'll admit it.
Well, what I'm saying is like, I don't know. I'm just saying there's a difference between rape and having sex with somebody who you don't necessarily want to have sex with, but you know that it'll get you social clout. There's just a difference. And women know how to say no. I was saying earlier, do you know how hard it is to actually rape a girl? I've been thinking about this recently. Do you know how hard it actually is to like,
it's not that hard.
if somebody's struggling against you, do you know
Believe
how
me,
hard
after
it
the
is?
first few times you learn.
The
You learn
techniques.
this, yeah.
A little bit of chloroform, you're there.
Yeah,
But-
that's
but
actually not
actually,
that hard. That's actually not that hard if you do it that way. So it's
I actually,
true. It's
but
true.
I- but to be honest,
unconscious,
wait a
yeah.
second. I'm not saying rapes don't happen, but I think a rapist is not someone who's horny because there's a lot easier ways to get your nut off than that. That is tough.
That's
now,
true.
even if like, okay, so, but like, if basically the only way you can actually do it is to knock them out, then you don't get your thing because your whole thing is
Yes.
like, I want you to like
Yeah.
have
Be
to lay there
like,
and I
afraid.
want to watch you in pain. So I think it would be
Um,
vanishingly small number of these crimes.
I know.
I
I
think,
think
rape is
that
extremely rare.
no.
I think it's extremely rare, especially with guys like Smeth around these days. Like, I mean, this guy couldn't even
You know
rape
what you're talking
himself.
about. He did rape himself with a pack of colored pencils.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
he has raped himself.
I think that there is a level of like for, you don't the way you were talking, you don't even think that like marital rape like can happen, right?
I do think it could happen if your wife's like she just gave birth, you know how you can't right after then, and you just like do it anyways. Like I think that's wrong because like, you know, she's in, or someone who's in pain, or she's got, you
Yeah,
know,
but
like the
she
flu
didn't-
or
she
something
didn't
like that.
consent, right? She didn't consent though. You just do it.
That's
to
what I
her.
mean. I don't know if I call it rape. It's
Yeah,
he's
I don't.
a fucking asshole.
I define.
I don't know
rape,
that she should take you to prison,
No.
but yeah, I do think it is like
I define rape as lack of consent. That's the way I define it. And I know that consent is complicated.
but do I believe that a wife cannot consent to her husband in normal circumstances? No, I don't. Nor can a husband. 100% goes the other way.
I
You have
don't
to,
agree.
you're obliged to make yourself available to the other partner
Okay,
within reason.
I
But it's
don't
not a
agree, but I'll give
negotiation.
you one. No. That's the thing. I think that if you want
Because
to
you
not
consented when you put the ring on your finger to a lifetime of getting
Of
banged
rape.
by this guy. And
a
this
lifetime
woman,
of
that's
rape,
it.
no. I think that
Well,
if
you can't opt out
if
of it
you
and
want-
go, well, I'm just not into it this month.
right.
Can't
Well,
do it.
you can, but it would ruin the
No, it's
relationship.
a mortal sin.
Okay, well that I don't believe in that. So I
Yeah,
think
I know,
I think
but
it would
I'm
I think it
just
would
saying
ruin.
it
I
on
think
a
it would.
secular level.
I think it would ruin. So if you're in
Yeah,
a long
right.
term relationship, you can say no. But if you do it every time for a long time, eventually it's gonna end up literally ruining the relationship.
Yeah, in a sense.
So
you
there
create a
is
power
pressure.
dynamic where,
There is
you're,
pressure.
You're withholding yourself, and you're like giving it to him, usually to him as like a consolation, right? But you're like kind of like, I don't want to do this. That sucks for a relationship. Is that what you're saying?
No. What I was saying is you just completely withhold it. Like there is like for both parties, like the other person is going to be horny sometime, and you're the person that if you've chosen monogamy, you're the person that they can have sex with. So if you want to make that contract with them, then eventually you're saying that eventually you're going to be horny and want to fuck. And if that never ever happens, it would ruin the relationship. But
even if the dynamic,
you can still say no.
Even if the dynamic is that the woman is kind of like, I'm not into pleasuring you, and the guy's like kind of begging for it. If that goes on for any length of time, it's destructive. That's destructive because that's becoming used as like a kind of like,
unless that's the relationship you want. But you know, if you had
well,
some
that's
weird
maybe
thing.
what you would want because you are submissive.
Yeah, theoretically.
Wait. Can I ask something maybe to like clear this up a little bit? Okay. Girl from another place says, I hope it has never happened to Grace, and it never does. If it does, it will be painful to look back on these discussions. Hope, what has never happened to me? That I get violently raped by a stranger? Is that what we're discussing? Like, what are we discussing? I have sex with somebody.
Well, let's say
really want to have
Grace,
sex with?
let's go further with this scenario with Darius, right? So let's say Nadoosh wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
And it just happens to be you and him in a hotel room, and I'm saying like,
it
well,
wasn't
you guys,
actually a hotel room. It was Nadoosh's place, his apartment.
but you guys were in a hotel room one night, right?
2 nights, yeah. One night I slept on the floor, and the other night we shared the bed, but I was on top of the covers.
Okay, but let's say the covers thing, right? Okay, because you trusted him, right?
Yeah, I did.
But
it was right too.
if he had given you a lot of pressure to say like, hey, this is, what the fuck, right? Like I paid for all this and been a real asshole about it.
Yeah.
Would that have moved the needle on like consent?
I mean, if he'd been an asshole, I would have been like, what the fuck? I would have gotten the fuck out of there.
Yeah, I don't understand it. It seems like there's
physically.
once he starts doing that, then it becomes like, okay, so are you a straight up violent rapist?
Right.
And
then
he starts
you
doing
guys
that.
you guys are acting like I have been convinced to do things that I don't want to do. That's different though. There's a distinction because it is really gray and that is different from
like
doing something
a
you
guy's dick, or
from doing something you regret. Like there is like a trend of saying sexual misconduct has taken place because you regret a sexual decision, and I think that's what you're reacting to, and that is bad. But also, it is absolutely true that you can be pressured into doing something, and kind of like you just get like confused, and you're like, okay, yeah, and you do it, and then you're like, oh wait,
okay,
I really don't, no, like why did this happen? No.
And so you think that's wrong?
Yeah, I think that's wrong. Yes.
Okay, so but wouldn't that be the case of yours when what you thought was a woman, apparently, although I don't really buy that, took a dick out, and you go, I guess.
Yes.
But listen, Smith.
Yes.
If I was with someone that I thought was a woman, and this did happen to me, like not in real life, but like online.
You were with someone you thought was a woman?
Well, I was catfished. I wasn't really catfished. She still sends me stuff. But anyways, I thought it was a woman. She was really hot, and I was like into her. And then she said, by the way, I was born male, and you're probably not. It's really nice about it, right? But let's say that she hadn't told me that, and she's like, I'm gonna fly over, and I was like, yeah, let's do that. Fly over. I'm not into like random sex, but let's just say I was. Okay.
All the fucking virtues, all this Catholic virtue signaling.
Well, I just want to make it clear to any potential. I would probably. I've said to people like, I should get you on a plane. Let's get you over here. I don't know what would happen when they came over because I would be like, I'm not wearing a condom, so if I get you pregnant, I have to know that you're not going to kill the baby. And then like, what exactly are we doing here? Right? Is it really worth it, etc. Okay, think that's reasonable. No. But fine, we could have some fun. Okay, but so she came over here, and I'm saying, like, this is a woman. And then, like, somehow I don't see anything. She comes into my room, and then out pops a dick. I wouldn't be like, oh, I guess I'd be like, what the fuck? I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, well, this is the reason it happened to me.
What's with this fucking dick?
It was like I'd literally never had sex before, so... Yeah,
but I mean, wouldn't a normal guy be like, you were expecting a pussy and you got a dick, and you weren't like, hey, what's going on here? You were just like, well, I guess.
Here's the thing. I wasn't a normal guy. I was much more like retarded, much younger, very inexperienced, and so I was confused. And I was like, okay, I guess.
How much
I wanted that
experience do you need to know the difference between like a dick?
No, to know what I'm comfortable with. Like you need experience to like get like good at knowing what you consent to and shit. Like I let it happen. It wasn't as bad as getting like violently raped or anything. And I gave it a couple sucks, and then I decided, you know what, I'd change my mind, and that's okay. I'm gonna live with that. Okay, so.
Well, what I don't understand is like with Grace. The thing is like if Darius had been aggressive, it would have made her feel like, hey, what the fuck, dude. Like I said no, right? And she would have gone on the floor. Good. And if you kept doing it, she would have said, I'm fucking out of here, right?
Good. She should.
Absolutely.
But I'm not saying that's a virtue that she's learned. It would just be natural.
No, that's a skill. No, that's a skill. I think you learning how to advocate, how to stand up for yourself. Like, okay, here's the thing. Mr. Ben Thorp, you are a very like forceful guy in a conversation. There are people who I'm sure you can totally. There are people who you can bulldoze like and just like walk all over, and like sometimes if that is the thing that happens, so you could be a rapist because if that's the thing that happens,
an intellectual rapist. I'm raping your ears.
So, but if you're doing that in a sexual context where you're bulldozing them and you're going forward and you're like no you like we're doing this and they just get confused and go along with it. That is
Yeah, but that's way different in a conversation.
No. But if
That's
okay, but
way different.
let's use that context. Let's just leave aside the fact that I've never been aggressive sexually with anyone in my entire life.
I'm sorry. I know that's sensitive for you, but I didn't really actually mean to accuse you
of being a rapist.
Yes, I don't think
it's sensitive for me. I don't. What do I care?
Yes.
Anyways,
it's very
chicks
sensitive
love
for you. It's
chicks are
very
intrigued
sensitive.
by me because I have that aura around me. But
You got
yes,
that rapey riz.
if I was into that, I would be aggressive, and they'd know exactly what they were getting from minute one. I wouldn't act like a nice guy. I'd be like, "Let's go upstairs," and they know exactly what I meant, and I wouldn't like beg them. Right? I'd be like, "I'll be upstairs in my room waiting."
That's different.
And if they show up, it's game on, and they know that from my behavior in the lobby.
But what if they didn't?
Then they shouldn't walk in the fucking door.
But so if they were wrong,
what they're gonna get?
So if they were mistaken, then it's raping time.
But what? That I'm not clear about it?
Yeah, if or maybe they're just fucking retarded and they don't get it. Like they're literally dumb.
Of course,
they're really dumb.
If a woman is saying like, "I'm having a terrible time," and it's like crying, then I'm like, "What would I?"
No,
why would I be
that's not what I'm
interested in
saying.
doing that?
I'm saying
But I would take them aggressively.
You're
like,
saying
as soon as they came in the door.
You're saying
I would say,
you would.
Let's go.
You're saying you would make it clear that as soon as she came into the door, that she would know that that's what's going to happen, and then it would happen.
Maybe.
Right?
I'm just saying,
so,
I could see that.
If you
really
didn't,
horny,
if you didn't make it clear, that would be rape. And if you did make it clear, but she didn't understand because she's literally like 20 IQ, no, like 60 IQ or something. Like,
or a retarded person.
Or she's autistic or something. She doesn't. She doesn't understand social cues, or she's just dumb. She's inexperienced. She's young. She doesn't have the life experience. She doesn't know what's going on. She just doesn't know what's going on. Then she just for whatever of a plethora of reasons. For whatever of a plethora of reasons, she does not understand that that's what you intend when she goes in the door. Then you are raping her. You are raping her.
There's
then.
only so many.
No, but wait a second.
It's not just her job. It's not just her job to read your cues. It's not just her job to read your cues. It's your job to make sure she understands when you communicate those cues to her.
Yeah, but what if she then goes afterwards? She goes, "I was enthusiastic because I was afraid." Okay, but I'm saying like you were enthusiastic. Okay, you didn't say anything.
So you're saying she's lying then? Because that could happen.
Well, how would I be? How would I be misreading the cues?
Some girls say that
she might say, "Look, I thought I wanted that. I came up to you.
Okay.
I thought I wanted that, and then you gave it to me." I think she'd leave with a smile. I don't think I get any complaints in the complaint department, but.
So violent sex
I could
is
conceive
dangerous.
of someone saying like, "I actually didn't like it that rough. Right. I didn't know what I wanted." Right. That's her fault.
No, I don't agree. I think that violent sex. So if you're going to engage in behaviors like that, you should definitely not do it with people that you're not familiar with because you're running the risk of raping them. That's why you shouldn't do rape play with a fucking like random hookup. Like if you want to do rape play, you're better like be really familiar with this person.
What are you gonna do? Rape play with your wife? I mean, that's boring.
Yeah. Wait, at least
what I'm saying,
a couple weeks maybe or something.
No. I can inform you on this, not from experience, but it is random hookups that do that kind of rough play.
Yeah, and they're risking the rape.
It's risky behavior. Yes, it's risky behavior by its nature.
The reason it's risky is because you're risking rape.
No, it's risky because you're risking pregnancy and you're risking STDs and you're risking attachment.
So you're saying that
you're not risking anything if you know exactly.
Okay. So we're talking about two different things.
You're saying guy's offering, and he gives.
You're saying that having
later on say I didn't like it that way.
You are saying that having sex. You're saying that having sex outside of marriage is risky behavior, and I'm saying that that rape play is risky behavior. Okay. What I'm talking about. So. Okay. So I do. I'm saying it is risky because you're risking rape.
But it's not play unless it's sort of rapey outside of marriage, right? It doesn't make any sense. You're not going to... There's no scenario in which you say, "I really care about you as a person, and I'm going to put my dick in you when we're not married." It's always crazy. Every person knows that. I could get you pregnant. You could get an attachment to me. None of this makes sense in this context.
Yeah.
So
sex
if we're going to do
risky.
it's going to be risky.
Sex is risky. Sex is risky, but
if
I
we-
think
and
rape
it's gonna-
play.
And if we're gonna do it right, it's gonna be fun. We're not gonna do this like
Sex is
put
risky,
8
and then rape play is even more risky.
I think it could be argued that it's
It's like way more
actually
risky.
more fitting. No,
No.
it's more fitting.
I don't know.
Look, these girls. Darius. Okay, so he's a fuckboy. I'm not one. Never have been one. Okay, he said these chicks what they like to do. What do you say, Grace? He said like they'll talk to you for a while. He was giving me advice. He said, "Oh, you know," because I was like, "What am I going to do if this beautiful girl?" It turned out to be a guy who was catfishing me. But this beautiful girl was like, she was like, "I'm an hour away. I want to, meet up with you, hook up with you." I was like, "I don't know what happens." He's like, "Well, I was like, "What do you just start having sex when they come in?" He's like, "No, you talk with them for a while, and then they want to scramble their brains." Okay, which means they don't want to be making sense anymore. They just want to do this thing. Now, do you think that's accurate, that women like who are doing this behavior want to scramble their brains? Yes, they do. It's like doing drugs. They don't.
Yes.
They want it rough
No,
and
it's
crazy.
complicated. No, it's way more complicated than that.
Wait a second. Let me just tell you one thing I think that's true. The more like not like crazy with knives and shit, but like they want it rough. And they want it like gratifyingly, like that you are so.
Not all
into
women want it
them
rough. No, like
that it excuses their
Yes.
bad, whorish behavior that night. So I think actually, if you do too much of this consent, then you're opening yourself
That's
up
true.
to this. Like, well,
Women-
you didn't say it
there-
between
there
this moment
are-
and this moment.
Yeah, there are
You're
a
actually
lot of
more
women.
fucked. You might as well just lean into it.
No,
Try to do a terrific
No.
job of scrambling her brain.
no,
So
no,
she leaves with a smile on her face.
no.
I'm not. But you see my point.
No, but the
Alive.
reason that women want that and is because we've taught them not to have any agency, and so they just want you to. They are so unable to like actually advocate for themselves or say what they want that they part of them knows they want it, and then they literally shut down so that you can make the decision for them. But that's not natural.
They
That's because
want
we've
to
taught
do
them.
that.
They taught them.
That
No,
is
no,
natural.
no, that is not the natural part. The thing that's natural is they want to fuck.
Why is it that they like? Look, I'm tall. Why is it that all women, like in a sexual sense, want a big, tall, strong man if they want agency? They don't want agency. They want to be overpowered by your lust for them, which is what they get off on. You see what I'm saying? There's no way to make this make sense.
I don't think that precludes consent, and I think there might be some natural like proclivity for wanting like stronger men or men wanting like weaker women.
Well, Smith, what I'm saying to you is, I'm just saying.
But
Let's say
also,
you and me.
some women
Let's say
want
you
weaker
and me.
men.
Let's say you and me are in the lobby, okay, of a hotel. And
I'll be right back.
We're at a conference or something like that.
I want to
And
go
there
in
are
like
some
5 minutes.
chicks.
I'm just getting tired. My brains are getting scrambled, literally,
well,
and I don't
all right,
want it.
So you can just say no. You can always say no. on
No,
the
I said
internet.
5 minutes.
Just one
five-
click away.
5
One click
minutes.
away.
No, I want to. I
You
know
can
it's.
just
I
go,
want to have a good
"I'm
show.
being
I
a
want,
total
but I want to.
homosexual." Click
I
off.
want to like ease into an end.
You want some aftercare?
No. I just want to like have a good way to like. I mean, I guess we're kind of. This is a good kind of conclusion, I guess.
Do you feel like this has been a good conversation or no?
A decent
I
conversation.
wanted to talk about three things. Was my topics. One was the pedophilia hysteria that I think Mr. Girl walked right into, and I don't think he was as like careful as he could have been with it.
His fear
But-
of talking to you is he thinks that you want to bait him into freaking out about the incest thing. Is that what you want? Like, because he might watch this. What do you?
Yeah.
What is your pitch?
No.
Do it. What is your pitch? Like,
I never brought the incest thing came from the outside. I never promoted that at all. Unlike him, he did like I am a pedophile video to like just sort of just like overtly say like I have a problem.
you
with this
use that fucking
mentality.
you use that fucking profile picture, dude. I'm not gonna. I know you're denying that, but it's
Well, you
obvious
can,
that
since you like to do 4 month long. If he wants to do 4 month long project, look historically, all of my videos are in sequential. Like I talked about religion. I had no interest in being in the drama sphere at all whatsoever. I only was interested in Destiny as someone to debate with. So this thing of like having my daughter and all these allegations made was not at all what I wanted to do. So I actually more fell into it. He more overtly came into it as a thing, saying like, I'm going to do this review of cuties, right? And say something really controversial, which I think was a real contribution to the online debate sphere.
So what do you want to talk
I
to him
only
about?
ended up saying things that are similar because I was attacked, and I was like, what the fuck is this? So it's different. I mean, if anything, he was more of an aggressor towards like, you know, sort of the Pharisaism online. So
he's gonna talk to you about the incest thing. He's unable to
fine.
do anything else.
Well, my take on incest is like the Catholic Church's take on incest. I'm in no way a defender of incest. I don't think it makes any sense. But I think that I think the idea of like a man and his daughter being online, that people suspect, like you're fucking crazy. This PFP you think is an implicit endorsement of incest.
No, not
You're
endorsement. No,
mind.
not endorsement. I think you're
You think
dog
it's like
whistling.
some sort of teaser for incest.
Yes.
You're out of your fucking mind.
I only think that because of the. I don't like. I think anyone else had that profile.
You're
picture.
wrong. That's not the thinking behind it at all.
Smeth, you read a lot into that profile picture.
Well, that's like
No.
saying Grace's PFP is about fellatio or something like that. She's just smoking a cigarette.
No, her PFP
I
is
don't know
about
what you're-
her PFP is like I'm cool girl. You know, I'm thoughtful.
Oh my god, I'm so glad you picked up on that.
Okay, but it's okay. But you could say, I don't know. You could say it's an endorsement of any number of things if you're crazy.
I'm not
like
using the
you
fucking
are.
word endorsement. I'm just saying you're trying to rile people up.
He's not though. He's actually not. That was just his Google Gmail profile.
But even this thing I'm talking about consent, I am not in favor of any of this. I don't believe in premarital sex. I'm not promoting it. I hold the church's view. It happens, but I don't think it makes much sense because it's
Well,
reproduction
children do.
belongs where you're going to want to reproduce. Now, if you
But
want to make an
children do
argument-
happen within marriage, so it's not outside of. I'm just.
So, anyways, I mean, I have even a more centrist position than he has.
That's a good
So
question.
I'm not even.
What is Smeth's StreamYard profile picture?
Him sucking a dick, probably.
Smeth,
don't
if you
get
press stop cam, what is your profile picture on StreamYard?
Stop cam.
Oh, very
It's
Him
telling.
eating out of a dog bowl, which
It's-
shows that he's talking about bestiality all the time.
Yeah.
It's
He's promoting
it's an
bestiality.
endorsement of bestiality.
Obviously, promoting bestiality.
I'm trying to freak out all those people with those bestiality allegations.
So, I mean, I actually, my pitch to Mr. Girl would be that I would be curious, not so much about, I don't think there's really much space between us and those like, can you find a 12-year-old sexually attractive on some level? Obviously, that's true. Because 12-year-olds have many of the aspects of adults of the opposite sex. It's obvious. And if they emphasize those aspects with lighting and photography, of course, you're going to like make the connection. Not hard to see. It's not even controversial in the slightest. But what I would be curious with him is like, and I would ask you the same question, but I know you're getting tired, but like, how do you go from saying like, I'd love to talk to Nick Fuentes, take a real free speech position to, and I don't even know what his end up position was. Destiny cannot talk to this guy anymore. He needs to deplatform him, and no one should platform him, and it's morally wrong to do that. I find that interesting. There's a way in which I think something happened there where he became like ultra moralistic when he started off being really anti that kind of hyper moralism.
And then you could maybe bake in you talking to him somehow into the conversation to make it more meta. I don't know. Whatever.
But the stuff, I mean,
No, Dad. Mr. Girl wants to talk to me. Remember?
Yeah, he can talk to you. And,
He wants
and
to
what
be
he
God.
said on the stream that I was just watching it, I was like, he just mentioned Grace Thorpe. He said like, oh, if I didn't have ethics, I would talk to Grace Thorpe and make a lot of money doing it. But I do have ethics, and that's why I won't. Even though he doesn't even know what he had no idea what this content was. Okay, yeah, that's fine. He's welcome to watch our content. But I think he assumed, here's the part that I didn't understand, and I don't understand on your part either. But I think you're not the same. He seems to think like, well, if I succeed on the internet, that's a bad thing.
Almost.
It's weird.
That's not literally it, but that's basically, I think, kind of.
That's so
It's like
weird. Why would you think that?
especially for a Jewish guy, like I'm not trying to be a funny guy about it, but like that's more of a Christian thing to say, like, oh, spiritual things, not worldly things. Like Jews are generally like, no, worldly success is fine. And I actually think I agree with them about that. You should want to succeed at what you do, not fail and then go, well, Jesus loves losers. He doesn't. He hates losers, like his Father in heaven, and everyone hates losers. But I understand something about
Jesus
integrity.
a
You don't
loser?
want to.
Jesus was a loser.
He's at the right hand of the Father in the kingdom of heaven. How's he a loser?
So I guess then Jesus loves
The
losers
ultimate winner.
because when they get to heaven, then they win.
He won here
But you
on
don't get
earth.
to heaven by losing.
Well,
Do you know how many Christians there are? How many people worship you, Smeth? Zero. Ever. Zero. How
Let's
many
keep it
people
that way.
right now worship that man as the Son of God? 1.6 billion.
So if you're saying people
That's a
didn't worship
winner!
him, you're saying people didn't worship him, he wouldn't be like loved by God?
I'm saying, if 1.6 billion people worshipped you as God, you wouldn't say you're a loser.
I mean,
That's a good
he was
But since
killed.
it's zero, then I don't know. I'm not saying either of us should proclaim ourselves as like the Son of God, but like, he's a winner. I don't know what to tell you. Jesus is the biggest winner in history.
Isn't him being crucified like a sad thing?
The triumph of the cross. Have you ever heard of Catholics go, it's Good Friday? Do you know why they call it Good Friday? It's the day in which we remember his crucifixion.
He came back
because he saved the fucking world.
It's good because he came back from the dead.
In dying on the cross, he took all of our sins.
You don't celebrate. You don't call a good crucifixion day. A week before.
Good Friday.
No,
Isn't
that's
it literally called
Friday.
Good
That's the
Friday?
day that is the day they came back
He
from the dead.
resurrected on Sunday, Easter Sunday. Friday's the day he died. The triumph of the cross. I understand it's paradoxical, right? It's paradoxical because he looked like a loser, but he actually tricked the devil, beat the devil. It took all our sins on us. He's the ultimate winner. Okay. So, but I mean, I get it that like there is a way in which to be a true Christian. You might look like a loser. That's true. Men will despise you, et cetera, but it's a winner religion. Christianity is a religion for winners, not for losers. But okay, you play the long game with Christianity, right? Sometimes you might people don't like you, they despise you, etc. But people also might despise you because you're despisable and disgusting and stupid. So just being a loser doesn't mean you're like a winner, but like being a winner is generally a good sign. But not at the price of your soul, right? Hey, come on. But on YouTube, you should try to win. You shouldn't try to lose and feel like somehow the universe is going to like pat you on the head when you spend 4 months making a report about something that is everything in the report is already like publicly known. And
I don't think
a winner like me could see it. It took me 5 minutes to determine Destiny's character. 5 minutes. You could watch. When I interacted with him. It was 5 minutes in, and then you could see me going, I'm going to get this guy. And then I hammered him. I didn't need a year of befriending him and then 4 months of writing a report about the way he's obviously a disgusting human being.
I think that
if he was nicer,
if God is real, I think that God will love janitors and rich men just the same, and I don't think he'd care about your subscriber numbers at all. And it doesn't matter how many.
No,
Because
no,
like
no,
the
That's
best.
not true.
No, wait.
If you're a janitor, but you have more talents, but you want to be a janitor because you think God loves you, I can read you the parable of the talents where God says, no. If I give you a talent, now talent meant money, but like it does mean talents. That's where the word comes from. God gives you a talent and you bury it in the ground because you want to be safe. He's going to take that talent and give it to the guy with 10 talents. And that might mean money. It might mean whatever. It might mean, spiritual.
Yep.
No. God is not the God of losers.
But to be a winner in our country, you have to hurt people. Like to be Destiny, you have to hurt people.
No. Destiny is a loser who appears to be winning right now. He is
So
a
you just
loser.
pick and choose who you want to call a winner and loser. Like
Well,
if you're talking,
objectively, he is a winner.
No, I'm saying Mr.
objectively.
Girl came in a winner. He came into the internet a winner. He's like, fuck all this fucking crybaby bullshit about sex. It's normal. I'm normal. I watch Cuties and I was slightly aroused by what was obviously slightly arousing. By the end of it, he's like, I can't even talk to Nick Fuentes, or I'm worried about whether I hurt fucking Stardust's feelings. Fuck her. She's a loser. I'm just wondering what happened and why you're not back fighting. Why are you not like whether you don't want to associate with me or my daughter? Like what? Why are you like crying?
I don't understand that.
Destiny won. Destiny's a loser. And I sent Mr. Girl shit on Destiny. That was real shit. So I don't know the whole thing, but there's something that happened when Destiny was much, much younger that is like jail level offense. Apparently. I don't know that. But like he didn't get back to me. Like I wanted to pursue that. The guy dropped off. But like I would take Destiny down on legal grounds. I would meet him down in Florida. Mr. Girl could be there with me. What the fuck? Why do we give up so easily? Because some guy has this like very fragile little ecosystem of other losers when good creators are banned from that world.
Wait,
then they're losers then.
Wait. You know what I also don't understand though, Smeth? There is a huge
They're winners in waiting.
Wait, there's a huge anti-Destiny community. Like lots of people online hate him.
He alienates everyone he works with.
What I'm saying is, like, why does Mr. Girl feel like he's like the unique victim, or like, why does he take it so hard? There are a lot of people who dislike Destiny as a person. They say he talks too much.
But there's still a lot of people that hate. There's still a lot of people that dislike Mr. Girl, even outside of that.
So what though? Why does?
I'll tell you though. No. I'll tell you what. I tell you what has to happen with Destiny. You know what he does? He doesn't actually micromanage people. They just know, right, that they'll get on this list. And he wasn't even very rough with Mr. Girl. And you did some analysis of this. Like you said, he's uncriticizable because he just like sort of absorbs it. And he's openly an asshole, right? Which I agree is an interesting strategy. But if people who fucking hate what he's doing and the culture that it creates online network with each other to make better content than these losers are making, then you don't need this like battle and you don't need reports. He'll just fizzle because it'll just be shown to be the boring sphere that it is. Now, if Mr. Girl was at the top, puts himself at the top of a whole other sphere of orbiters, which we're happy to be orbiters of Mr. Girl. I think he's a better artist than I am, more creative or whatever. Then like, why don't we just win instead of crying because you got banned from the Destiny community? Why?
We got blackballed from Destiny. Is that what you call it? Blackballed?
I only lasted 15 minutes before I was like banned. I consider that a badge of honor. That's not an L. That's a W.
He blocked me on Twitter. I didn't cry about it. I just don't understand.
I agree with. I
Where's
agree
the
with
fight?
that. I agree with that framing of L's and W's, but I don't agree that succeeding on YouTube is what makes you winner. I just don't.
No, but Smeth, the
point
point is if you're a janitor, you want to be the best janitor you can be. Just because you're a janitor doesn't mean you're a loser. But if you want to be on YouTube, you want to be in media, you want to spread a message.
I would say
if you say,
no, Smith. Grace, shut up. I would say this. If you compare Destiny, who does have some talents, he's a good sophist, a sophist debater. He doesn't care about anything, but he's like pretty good at like just like working arguments. And
He's a
Mr.
good
Girl,
maneuverer, social maneuverer.
yeah, socially, whatever. He's set something up, whatever. He will be the first one to tell you it's mostly that he was there first and he's on for 10 hours a day. He'll be the first one to tell you that. But you put him up against Mr. Girl. And I'm just saying, I'm not trying to dick ride or anything like that. I'm just saying, if you watch Mr. Girl's content, especially when he's allowed to, like, it's not like just this pile on. It's fundamentally different and way more interesting, way more sophisticated, way more, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
But
I'm
the
just
thing is,
saying
I
there's
think-
a
I feel like-
natural hierarchy where someone like that outdoes the destinies of the world unless
I'm more of a
they
doomer.
somehow get trolled into thinking that they're losers.
I want you to
what?
believe what you're saying. I want to believe that you're right, but I just think, I think that they're okay. It's like, I think Destiny's content is like Crocs. Like the Crocs are shitty shoes. Like they're like you wear Crocs because you don't even want to wear shoes. Like they're not like a comfortable shoe. They're a lack of a shoe. Yes.
Shoes. Yeah.
So I think that like they're like most people, like McDonald's is slob food, and people that
I know what
that's
you're gonna say. I've heard
so
this
Destiny
over and
is
over
slob content, and people want that. And the fact that he's
And
got
you're
a
saying
video
people are
game
slob.
on the background
People
while
are
he's
slob.
talking and it's
Right,
distracting.
right,
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's
Right.
bad
Just
content.
that alone, Smith, like that you don't have a fucking video game playing while we're talking.
Yeah.
That should be just like the end of it, right? And that you got
Yes,
5
it
fucking
should-
chats
it
going
should
up
be.
all the time.
But it isn't though, because people
Okay,
want
but-
McDonald's.
Okay, all right. So you're saying people want McDonald's, but actually McDonald's is pretty high quality for what it does. I'm telling you, McDonald's breakfast. Let's do a little plug here. It's well
I
done.
do
It's really
on the Egg
good.
McMuffin.
Those buildings are good. You know, I don't know. They make it happen. I understand it's not fine.
Crocs are
dining.
good. Crocs are good for what they are. They're really good. They are. Like
Well,
if you
okay.
don't want it's way better than a flip flop, or like if you don't want to actually be wearing shoes, it's way better than all the alternatives.
Okay. Well, let's use something more like condoms, right? Condoms are awful. It means you're a loser. If you're putting a condom on, you're a loser. I don't know what to tell you. It's just awful on every level, for the woman, for the man, for the reproductive act. It's just the worst. Okay. But fine. Condoms are like the thing in our society. No, you can have a well-made condom. Obviously, condom companies, they test out the condoms. They have advertising campaigns, whatever. But it just sucks. Now, you're saying something about human nature. You're saying, I've heard this so many times before. I really hate this. You're saying
I
people
mean, I too hate it too,
do
but
not
I believe it.
love excellence. Now, okay, let's look at music, right? You're somewhat of an artist, okay, but you look at music. It is not true that if you look at the greatest musicians of all time, that they're all the worst musicians, or that they're all sort of like garbagey Mick musicians. It's
But
not
that's-
true.
it
The
is
Beatles
true.
were excellent musicians. Elvis
They're
was
not-
an excellent musician. Rolling Stones were excellent. Bob Dylan was excellent. These were all excellent musicians. Now, there are people like maybe Britney Spears is not an excellent musician, but she's actually pretty good. And I just think the cream does rise to the top. Now, there are bands like, I hate to be this kind of fucking person, but like the Velvet Underground, Nick Drake. There are these like people who never really made it, who were found later, but now they sell the records, right? But okay, so but like they didn't make it, they died too young or whatever. Okay, so but like, or they broke.
But the streaming is about quantity over quality. That's
No.
what.
No, it's an art
That's
form.
actually not
It's an art
true.
form. You're a fucking artist.
No, the
If
streamer-
you
the
don't
streaming-
think
no,
this
no.
is art, then get out of here.
No, for me, yes, but like for the streaming game is like getting like 100,000 viewers or whatever. Like I don't know anybody has 100,000, but like 10,000 viewers. Like that is about like streaming 10 hours a day, 20 hours, like 20. If you stream
Not
20 hours a
really.
day,
No, like the
I
biggest
mean, there's some
expression
truth to
fit is
that.
huge, right? So they're just like, okay, so they get tits, they get a bunch of like basically whores with microphones, and they bounce it around, the red pill kind of thing. They get huge money, huge views. Okay, but it gets old quickly. I mean, you're not going to tell me. I can't hear
well, it's
this
that,
from
and
you,
it's
that,
also
like,
networking.
well,
and
you know, that used to be true, that excellence rises to the top, but now
No,
Nah.
it depends what the field is and stuff. It's not just a time frame. I think that streaming in particular is about being like, cuz like react content. So like you can have excellent content because you're reacting to other people's excellent content. You know what I mean? And you can be Destiny. You can have like actual like scholars come flock to you. You can fucking get Ben Shapiro. You can fucking talk to Zizek. All right. You can go find Mr. Girl. You can find Ben Thorp, and you can throw them on so that you can have your whole circus, and you can bring all this shit to you, and you don't even have like anything to offer, and you're just like a DJ where you're like jockeying other people's shit and getting all the rewards off of it.
Well, okay, but it has to be good, and it has to be.
Hello?
But and I know this from being in drama. We were pulled not on purpose into a drama world, and then people said like, "Oh, you can get into that guy Speak Easy. He does the grind. He got into drama. Okay, so he's endlessly doing like I would call it white trash drama, where it's just one after the next person going like, I'm gonna come up there and show you who's boss. Don't you talk about my daughter that way. But it gets old. You see what I'm saying? You hit into that, it's easy because they all want to, it's like Facebook moms. But then it plateaus. Okay, but there is such a thing as a hierarchy. You can't, it's not like, it's just such a fucking cope for you as an artist to just go, well, it used to be.
I'm not saying used to be.
Whoever took over, now it's just everyone just wants the worst, and that's human nature.
It's not that it used to be. It's just different times, different things.
No,
different contexts.
Wait. I was watching Mr. Girl's content when he was interviewing Not So Erudite, and it was tense. And it was kind of like a lot of that was fucking excellent content because it's not the same old bullshit.
But he
sitting there with fucking Wick going, I don't know what is consent, blah blah blah, whatever the fuck it is, nonsense.
But he rose to the top though because Destiny like gave it to him.
No,
it wasn't. It wasn't out of merit. No, it was not out of merit.
Yeah, but Destiny knew he was interesting.
That's
Destiny
true.
Knew he was interesting. Okay,
but it's only because Destiny got to
just pick up some person who's.
It's
just
like
boring.
a vampire comes and sucks your blood, and then like you get a little bit of like vampire juice out of it, but like that's all.
Mr. Girl, I don't know if you think we got a boost from Destiny. I guess so, but I mean we did it for an hour, and then
right, and he got it like
we were
a lot
done
more.
with him.
Yeah.
Okay, so we didn't get it. Like we're banned, and like his creators don't talk to us because we're banned. Okay, or his orbiters, or whatever. So I don't know even like net whether we gained anything from that. We got some notoriety. It was totally negative. He trashed us, and then he doesn't let anyone interact with us on threat of being like excluded from his community of losers. So now, Mr. Girl would have risen in the ranks organically. More slowly, but he did not need Destiny.
Yeah, it's a tragedy that happened. He probably would have.
He is a fascinating figure. Now, he's good in what he did, his whole setup with the Mr. Girl hotline, all that shit. You just don't, there isn't that quality in the streamer world. See, I think actually Destiny didn't help him. He helped Destiny.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Destiny ruined him.
But I think but Destiny makes it seem like, oh, I'm doing you a fucking favor. We had the same experience with Ethan Ralph. Ethan Ralph bolted from Cozy, got interested in our content genuinely, but then he played like I'm the superstar. I'm gonna help you, especially Grace, to like right. But we didn't realize it at the time. Once we dropped from him, he just sank to the bottom. We were the only ones keeping it interesting there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But
he wanted us to feel like, oh no, you suck my dick, or and we'll go up together and I'll help you out. He didn't have anything.
I see it. The way I see it is there are different skill sets, and you can have all of them. But
Yeah.
you can have like really good, like if you're an artist, like you're spending a lot of effort. Like Mr. Girl, like he spends all his effort on like one video for like spending a shit ton of time on it and shit like that.
You do too.
I know. And what
You're
I'm saying
writing
is,
one about, you're doing one on narcissistic abuse now, right?
yes.
It might not be the best use of your time.
But no, but like that's also how, like, if then the other use of your time, like the other skill set is like 100% like networking and like social climbing and like all these types of things, branding and shit like that. And the people that are the top tier streamers are like DJs that just use other people's content. They take in other people, and like that's the streaming game is about being those DJs.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like the Jews make the money, like the real money makers I'm just using this. It's true. The music industry is run by like the real money makers are the ones that find the talent.
No,
they make the talent. The talent is what makes the money, right? But
Yeah,
they just always take a cut of it. That's a smarter game to play, right?
There's a lot. I don't want to like opt into this fucking Jew. No, there's a lot of rich Jews, but like some of them aren't Jewish.
I don't care. Right? Yeah. But I'm saying the idea is like the industry plays the smarter game. They don't make any music. They just find talent that's desperate, right? That they cultivate 10 talented people. 2 of them turn out to be stars. The other 8 kill themselves because they're losers. Okay, but still, those 2 are worth the investment. And then they arrange contracts where the industry makes a cut of everything they take, right? But it's the music. It's this bullshit thing that music. It's this Kanye bullshit that the musicians should get all the money because they're the ones making the fans happy. But without the industry promoting them, finding them, scouting them, and marketing them, okay, you need them. Do you know what I'm saying? They deserve a cut.
Yeah.
Now wait.
Yeah, but
now let me give you an example of something. I'm just suggesting.
They deserve a cut. They don't deserve a cut, but they don't deserve to be like XQC. Like XQC should be working as like a middleman that like promotes like these like all these like people that he reacts to and shit. But no, he's the guy, and it like he basically gets like 100% credit for like all the shit that everybody does.
He doesn't give them a cut.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I know. It's like ultra competitive. So but even like corporations work this way. Internships. I don't know if you went to college or what, but like, how like rich kids will take internships for free to work in a huge corporation until they like cut their teeth, and then the corporation will give them a big job and they've got it set for life. Okay, all highly competitive industries like basically turn the lower rungs into slaves because it's super competitive, right?
Yep.
Even drug dealers, like gangs.
But what I am saying is that it is a different game. That like being the artist type is a different game, and the game that is the winners. They aren't artists. They're just like they're just.
But they have to have an artistic eye. The destinies of the world have to see who is worth investing in, who's an up and comer, or it gets boring, right? So he has to have an eye for content. He does. And that's true of music industry people have to go like, actually, that's crazy. That sounds crazy. Rap music is an example.
I don't think
that sounds crazy. That sounds primitive. But like that, the ones who said like, that's the next big thing made a ton of money.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people who have an eye for content and shit, but that's not the only thing. It's being able to wield that power. It's just like, it's being like a businessman and it's just not.
But listen,
just a different.
I would call this the artist fallacy. Is what you're doing is like saying like, well, if I'm unsuccessful as an artist, that means I'm a real artist. Bullshit.
No, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying.
Bullshit.
That's not what I'm saying.
My fucking son did this. Now I will give you a practical example.
I'm not saying that.
I'll give you a practical. Smeth, listen.
I am not saying that.
Okay, I'll give you a practical example. Grace is a top-notch editor. She's a fucking editing genius. If you don't believe me, look at some of her cuts of what she's done. Now, I've seen your editing with the mrgirl report
that
or
one's
whatever.
not that good. It's all
Okay,
right.
but what? So just but look, an artist will say, "I want to collab. If my editing sucks, I want criticism." She'll give you great criticism. Obviously, you have the skills. You have really interesting footage. Whatever you tried, and that's great. The most important thing is that artists produce. But why should it take you 4 months to make a fucking video? You need to collaborate, maybe. The lonely artist is the suck artist.
That's true.
Collab.
Artists need collaboration.
She'd love to collab with
criticism.
She'd love to,
What, like
she'd love
edit
to
for
collab
me?
with you. She likes you. No, just like the two of you do a project. She's got projects she wants to work on. Just let's go online, and even you could stream yourselves editing. It'd be interesting to watch two editors give back and forth. But then, of course, you'll do some private shit to say, like, how's this looking? What's the right music here? All those kind of decisions are better done. There is such a thing as a solitary artist who's like such a genius that he doesn't want his art sullied by other people's criticism. But that's a rare breed, wouldn't you say?
Well,
most of the time,
I'm an only child.
Benefit.
Yes,
all the more reason for you to collab.
You want to be my brother?
I do
can be your
collab.
sister.
I mean, this is a collab right now.
Yeah, it is.
I know. But I'm saying there's a kind of way in which you go, like, I'm working on a project. It's obviously taking too long.
No.
And you're not really working very much.
That video you're talking about, that 4-month-long video, I did a whole bunch of streams while doing
that was Mr. Girl who took 4 months.
I think my video, so he took 4 months to write it, and then after he wrote the thing for 4 months, then I made a video that's 2 hours long about it, and it's like and
it's too long. It's too long.
It is too long. It is too long, but the report's also too long. And I know. But it was actually.
But I'm saying
it was good for me at the time. I was like way small. Like it gave me like 200 like subscribers.
Right, sure.
So
I'm not here to like put artists down and say don't create art. I'm just saying, be open to the idea of like collabing.
I am
like really collabing. Like I'm saying, like in a way that like there's this kind of way of like I don't want to show my stuff to someone else because I'm kind of ashamed of it.
No.
Or I'm ashamed of how long it takes me, whatever. Just fucking open up. Just open up.
I don't have. You're talking to your son. You're talking to your son right now. You're not talking to me. Like I
think I am talking to my son right now.
Yeah. Fuck you.
Oh, listen to father.
That's Thorp.
I'm actually doing this because I want to pawn Grace off on you. She spends all day, every day saying like, I don't know how to relate to you.
Smeth, I'm crazy.
She's crazy. She's a cute girl, whatever. I understand that you're ambiguously sexual or whatever. It's not a problem.
I might not be single right now.
Sure. There might be a dick that you're
I don't
sucking.
want to do incest, Smeth. So.
But I'm just saying. I'm saying, Smeth. I'm just saying.
Yeah, bro.
Let's have a more, instead of being like, I don't know. Okay. And you were great tonight. You said like, yeah, let's just do a stream instead of all these people saying like, I have to check my calendar, which obviously no one in streaming really has a calendar where we lack.
Well, that's because you fucking had you finally fucking actually asked to do an actual stream rather than like talking about doing. You were the one doing that.
I've had a lot of problems recently. Yes. But I'm saying maybe the next time you have an artistic lull, or we have an artistic lull, like you'll just be like, let's just do it anyways. You know what I mean? Or yeah. Mr. Girl, we can pull him out of his like ridiculous quasi-retirement. Get back up there. We'll boost you. You could say, I don't want to platform you. Give me a fucking break. And the key to winning in streaming is collabing.
I know that. Like that's why every stream that
beefing.
There's only one stream that I have ever done that wasn't like talking to other people, and that was my review of the movie.
Not Elder Drazzy and
it
Wick.
was a review.
No.
Wick. That stream was good for me. That last one was good for me. But I did a review of Zootopia for 1 hour. No, for like 15 minutes, and
yeah. You know, we can't hardly collaborate with anyone because I think it's kind of this like destiny told people not to, and the streaming world is not that big. The
It's
video
really not.
world
I'm
is pretty big,
amazed
but
at
the
how
streaming
small it is.
world, you just run into the same people. The debate
Mhm.
sphere, also same people. There's like, I don't know, it's like less than 100 people total who are
Yeah.
in this sphere. So you keep running into the same people, and they have a certain culture. I want to destroy that culture
I'm really interested.
from
So
the outside.
not to like I'm not like saying I don't want to like collab with you or anything, but another interesting thing you can do is try to like have the real gold is to find people that aren't streamers and like bring them in and like I want to talk to a farmer about some of this fucking online shit, like some of this like
normies,
I want
especially normies.
Yes.
Yeah. We have a black neighbor who's a single mother. She came on to stream, but the problem is with normies, streaming culture is brutal at first. If you're thinking it's going to be like people who are nice, especially we don't have an echo chamber. So it's like, I was like, they're going to rip you to shreds, right? That she's black, you know what I mean? And she's a single mother. And like, I think she couldn't like take it, you know what I mean? Because they were just immediately calling her like, doing all this kind of like racial stuff, which I told her, you know what I mean? But like, okay, but she would be terrific because there aren't enough sort of, I don't know what you want to call it, ghetto mama. I know she's going to yell at me because I said that, but like, it's that, she's like a kind of salt of the earth, single black mother. There isn't really that voice in the Destiny world. It's all these like hyper analytical, college educated white people.
They're all trying to
and
fucking.
She could wreck them all in terms of like, just laying it out, because she has that kind of, real life kind of, you know what I mean? And black, there's a certain black rhetoric that's like highly respectable, right? She talks shit. We could hear her through the wall talking shit to her like mother-in-law. I'm like, this should be on YouTube. It's fucking awesome.
I haven't seen your fucking granddaughter again, bitch.
Yeah, right. It's great. It would be really funny.
Fucking talk to me like that. Fucking play around with me like
There's
that.
just so much opportunity. This is a growth market. The idea that a lot of people will go, well, Destiny's already covered this. No fucking way. And like nobody even knows what I'm sorry, these panels that people are talking about whether it's okay to stream with mentally ill people when everyone in it is mentally ill. You know what I mean? It's like so stupid. Hair splitting. Let's do some more interesting stuff. Get some real art in there. Like, so I'll leave you this. Mr. Girl said, like, I just want to be able to like have a thoughtful conversation with someone. Like, I can have a thoughtful conversation with you, but I can also make it entertaining because I'm bombastic. I'm a little extra. It's, you know what I mean? I bring all this sort of like extra energy, but that's good for streaming. But it doesn't mean I don't have good ideas or interesting ideas. I'm an interesting person. I don't think there are a lot of Catholic.
No, that's not the thing. He actually just thinks that he thinks that you want to bait him on the incest thing. He literally.
How would I bait him?
I don't know.
Bait him into what?
Into freaking out. Because what he said was when people realize that you're really passionate about something, because so like he has like an experience with like his mom or something, and so he gets really passionate on this topic, and so he thinks that you see that passion
on what topic?
On the topic,
incest?
Yes. Like it.
Oh, he has like an Oedipus complex or something.
No, his mom like kicked him out of like his like where he was living, and then like many years later she like tells him that it was because she was attracted to him.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
And so like I think that's probably why, but like he is really like passionate about
that I know about him?
He's passionate about child abuse, and he thinks that you see that, and he thinks that because he's passionate you want to bait him so that you can make him spaz out and look like a lunatic on stream, because that's good content, because people like to bait out people and make them spaz out.
Yeah. So you just have this like they call it spurging out or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Where you just yell and scream.
He was one of the best Spurgers.
I didn't see him doing that very much. He usually was like really trying to like not do that. But occasionally people would push him.
Yeah.
I do it like, but I get bored with it. I would much rather have a nuanced conversation. I don't know where he would stand on this, like sort of like this conversation we had about like sort of the dynamics of consent. I don't think he would say like, I don't think he would take the typical DGG review of saying like, you are wrong. It's abusive for you to, you're just an abuser. I don't know. What that ends up being is just sort of, again, misandry. It's like anyone who's a man is an abuser just because he has a stronger voice. You know what I mean? I don't think he would take that view. It'd be interesting. I don't know. I just don't know why he's in retirement. That's what I'd be curious. Why are you in retirement? How did you take an L? Where is the L? Why don't you come back on and be like aggressive and get back on? I don't think YouTube has any real beef with him on his content, even though like I am a pedophile thing. Like, I mean, obviously he's kidding.
It's not
That's
YouTube.
obviously
It's this. It's just that people are